We're live. What's good, Ohio Cannabis Report family? It's your boy Gerald Moore Jr. back with another live episode. First of all, I want to thank everybody who has subscribed to the channel thus far. We are at 350 subscriptions. Let's give everybody a round of applause. Thank you guys for all the support. Shout out to all of our Instagram family, all of our Substack and Reddit family. Shout out to Facebook, all the people that have connected with us on these different platforms. Really appreciate the grassroots movement. Obviously, we haven't taken any money from any type of corporations or anything like that to really uplift our voices. And so really want to thank everybody for the support. Obviously, just like we do typically, just a little disclaimer, this is for news and entertainment purposes only. All opinions that come from my mouth are my opinions. They are not the reflection of any organization or anybody else outside of myself. So appreciate you guys for always showing love in the comments and doing what you guys do. Looks like Kenzie is in the lobby, so I'm going to bring her over, add her to the chat. There she is.
Hi.
My girl, what's going on? How you doing today?
How's it going? I'm good. How are you today?
It's going.
Yeah.
And it's another Thursday in America in Ohio, so we're gonna make it happen.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? I know. And one day until, the state tries to take more away from us. Because what's new in Ohio,
Well, and that's why we do what we do, and that's why I'm happy to have you on. Obviously, we had some scheduling conflicts. We were supposed to have you on earlier, but we finally got you on.
Sorry about that.
No, you're all good. Trust me, I understand. We're all busy, and the world is on fire, and there's a lot going on. So I appreciate you for giving us some time. So just go ahead, get into it. Let the people know who you are, how you got into the cannabis space, and then we'll go from there.
So, my name's Kenzie Cherry. So let's see. I'm originally from like Toledo, Ohio area, Bowling Green.
Tell us about Toledo, because I'm not originally from Ohio. You know what I mean? And so I'm still learning Ohio. But again, I went to a MAC school. I played at Ohio University. So we obviously played Toledo.
I went to BGSU. So,
okay.
Yeah,
BG
I think
sucks.
we won the MAC when I was in. Hey.
when we were in school, we were probably in school around the same time.
I was there 2012, 2013, 2014, those years.
So you were right after me then, because I graduated 2012.
Gotcha. Yeah, no. So I originally started at BGSU, and I was in nursing school, actually.
Okay.
So doing that, however, I also had to work. So, paying, I have an amazing family. They, however, they weren't able to support me going to school and living, as most college kids are here.
Yeah.
So I was working multiple jobs, trying to go to school, trying to do clinicals, trying to keep it all together. And it just it really wasn't feasible for me.
Yeah.
As well as, when I was in the industry, in the healthcare field, I just saw a lot of, a lot of like pill pushing, I guess I would say. And I don't want to,
No, we got to talk about it, because I'm going to stop you there, because my degree's in healthcare administration.
Okay.
So I studied the business side of healthcare. I studied the insurance and the processes and the money, right?
Yeah.
And so, but a lot of times, again, like you study that, and then as a football player, right, we're getting tons of pills, we're getting tons of shots, but most of us smoke weed, but we're getting drug tested for that. We get in trouble for that. You know what I mean? So again, you have this whole system where, they're pushing one thing, but they're telling you, well, we want you to be healthy. But then the system is like, no, this is what we're doing, right? We're pushing pills to help. We're not really helping with healthcare. So go deeper into that.
No, they want you to be healthy, but then they're prescribing you things that you can get addicted to, that you can, that can lead to further drug use, which I have seen in so many people that I know, some friends, I've seen it everywhere. Everybody has. And, it's just tough when in America, healthcare is not about the people, it's a business.
Right.
And I think coming to the realization of that is kind of when I was like, this isn't really the kind of healthcare that I want to get into, you
Yeah.
know? So that was when I started looking more towards cannabis. Now, I have been a cannabis user since around college, actually.
Okay.
I didn't a lot before that. I think the
Hmm.
first time I did try, I was very scared.
Talk about it, because I mean, a lot of it's part of the stigma, right? Like,
Yeah.
especially growing up in Ohio, I would imagine, like, with so much drug use, alcohol,
Yep.
and like less, like there's not a lot of prevention talk, right? We don't have a
Hmm.
lot of gyms, we don't have a lot of
Hmm.
like things that teach you how to prevent. We are all about prescription and prescribing. So talk
Yep.
about like that upbringing in Ohio to get you to the point where like, oh, I'm nervous to try it, but then you try it, now you're involved in it.
Yeah,
Talk
I
about that
mean,
process.
growing up, I mean, like you went to Dare, you know,
Mhm.
you learned that drugs not okay.
Right,
Alcohol, it's okay when you get a little older, right?
right.
And for me, you know, learning that growing up, having that pounded into your head, you know, it's scary.
Mhm.
And I think the first time I tried it, I just remember being like scared because I
Right.
was like, this is drugs, right?
This is bad. What's
Um,
gonna happen?
yeah,
Paranoia. What's
yeah.
gonna be
And
the
obvious,
effects?
yeah. And obviously, like I'm a kid and I'm getting into my head. And I also think I watched the movie 28 Days Later after,
Okay.
which not a good idea. Not a good idea. um but yeah, so that was the first time I ever tried it, and I really
Okay.
didn't do it a whole lot after that. But then
Right.
I started having very bad anxiety in high school, like debilitating anxiety
Mm.
where I couldn't get out of bed. And I remember I I had been dealing with that for years. I was on different prescriptions, things like that. And then
Mhm.
I tried cannabis, and I think it was like my college roommate. And I remember I tried it with him, and I immediately felt this like sense of relief. I felt like, you
Mhm.
know, I can go out and do things. I just I felt relaxed. I don't know,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah, yeah.
it it really did
Like
change
a sense of
things for me.
balance, like a sense of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it
normalcy.
really did change things for me when I
Yeah.
first started. And I was like, it allowed me to start functioning again in
Yeah.
daily life.
Yeah. Now I think that's important because, a lot of us, right, we hear the words anxiety, we hear stress, we hear depression. One, those things are all normal human reactions, right? Like
Hmm.
to what's going on in our bodies, but also what's going on in our surroundings. So, like, a lot of us are dealing with anxiety because we go out into the world and we don't know what the fuck is going to happen out there, right?
Yeah,
Or, you may have some pre existing conditions, or, it's just a lot going on. So, I think we have to, one, teach people that anxiety is a natural human reaction
very
to your
true. Yeah.
body, right? Dealing with things. And like, I was somebody that, like, I started consuming in high school. I went to Catholic school though, so we didn't have the DARE program. So
Oh,
like,
okay.
you hear about, the DARE program from the public schools, but then I'm like,
Hmm.
yo, we smoking weed over here. They drink, and then Catholics, I don't know if you're Catholic or not, but Catholics, they drink alcohol for mass.
Yeah,
So I'm
I
like,
know.
so I'm like, you got little kids going up and they're drinking out
Right.
the same chalice, and I'm like, this is, so that was different. But again,
Yeah.
we don't get taught about anxiety, stress. So it wasn't until I got to college and then obviously started playing sports that you start to get anxious. You start to get like anxious before games, or like the
Mhm.
pressure of, fans and school
Yeah.
will start to weigh on you. So you're like, I got to do something, right? And I was never
Yeah.
somebody on pills. So again, like the cannabis, I realized real early on, like it helped to calm my nerves. Like it helped
Mhm.
me to relax. It helped me to just
Mhm.
kind of block out the BS and just be myself. But I
Yeah.
feel like we're
Yeah.
so, especially now with pills and anxiety, like we're so quick to push the pills, and then it's
Mhm.
numbing people, right? Like it's numbing
Mhm.
you to the point where you're not truly yourself, and it's weird. So cannabis gives you that kind of like alternative where you're not numb to the world. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But it's just balancing you out. It's just giving you kind of that sense of peace and calm, which I think
Exactly.
we have to,
Exactly.
especially with you being in nursing, right?
Yeah.
Nurses oftentimes have better relationships with the patients than the doctors, right?
Yeah.
You guys spend a lot more time. And so we have to, in the healthcare field, we have to literally rewire and rework the entire system
Yes.
because our doctors don't know anything about the endocannabinoid system. They're
Mhm.
not taught it. And we weren't taught that in school. We weren't taught
Nope.
about THC and all the other terpenes and CBD, CBG. And so
Yep.
now you got people continuously going to school, paying tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they don't even know about the
The full
endocannabinoid system.
system. They don't even know about the full system. I mean, but that's education in
Yeah.
America, though. I mean, we're not
Yeah.
learning a lot.
Well,
So,
and that's why again we are on this kind of like a renaissance, right? And I think that's why the
yeah.
cannabis industry, being on the ground floor, being grassroots, it sucks because you got people that come in with money and just pour the money into it because they're like, oh, let me benefit off of this.
Mhm.
But then we don't push the education. We're not pushing the
Yeah.
actual research and knowledge. We're not actually asking people who consume cannabis,
Mhm.
why do you consume it? What does it help
Yeah.
you with, right? How does it help
And
your anxiety?
and that's why this is so important, to keep the conversation going, because this
Yeah,
is how, things change,
for
is
sure.
by us educating each other. And thankfully now we have things like social media that,
Mhm.
it opens that platform for, you to reach other people and reach more people.
For
And
sure,
we can continue to spread the word that, cannabis isn't as harmful and scary as they say it is,
for sure. And that's
um,
why we do it.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. But yeah.
So you were
So
talking about college. You started consuming college,
yep, started
anxiety.
consuming in college. It helped so much with my anxiety, but I also have ADHD, and I
Okay.
noticed that it helps with that as well.
Now, what is
If
ADHD? Because I hear about that a lot. Like we hear all these terms.
yeah.
ADHD, anxiety, I'm neurodivergent. Like, can you break ADHD down for us for the people that
Sure.
may not
So
know?
I mean, I have attention deficit disorder is
Okay.
what it is. Or so I've been told since I've been a child.
Which I feel like a lot of us have growing up
Uh-huh.
in the because everything's pulling our attention every which way. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe I'm just normal and this is just a normal thing, and using cannabis helps with my using my endocannabinoid
Mhm.
system. It helps regulate my system, it helps
Right.
me concentrate, it helps me
Mhm.
calm down. But I guess, when I was younger, I got diagnosed with attention deficit disorder and got put
Mhm.
on medication at a pretty young age.
Yeah.
And so another thing that cannabis did when I got into college was I also put on some weight. I was
Mhm.
very underweight because,
Okay.
being on stimulants like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
can, it affects your eating
yeah,
habits.
for sure.
And those are things that, they don't really talk about and tell you when you're in sixth grade and they're
Of
giving you these
course.
pills. So,
Of course.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's what's
So,
interesting too about the pills, not to cut you off, but
no, you're
there's
good.
we talk about the benefits of the pills, but
Mhm.
you will watch a commercial about some pills and then all the negative effects. This could kill you. This could give you gut issues. This could,
Yeah.
but it's like, oh, but it can help you with your weight or it can help you with this. And it's like with weed, it's like, oh, we don't like the way it smells. You're lazy.
Yes.
But we
Exactly.
rarely touch on the good, right?
Yeah.
ADHD, it helps me focus. It helps me like I get high and I tell people now, like, I don't even get high. I'm getting grounded, right?
Yes.
Because
I
for
love
me,
that.
like, it's not really like I'm not up here. Like, I'm
Mhm.
literally grounded, and it allows me to focus, concentrate, do things, spend time with my family, be present,
Yeah.
where I'm not, everywhere else. And so I think that's important that you brought that up.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And so let's talk about college and what was there a negative like stigma in your family, your community came from around cannabis outside of like Dare? Did you know anybody in your family
Not
that was consuming?
not in my family, absolutely not. They're all very open. They were
Okay.
all, super on board with this.
Right.
My parents actually owned a bar when I was
Oh,
growing
nice.
up. Yeah. So, alcohol was like very prevalent
Right, right.
in my life. And it was something that also I think started to give me anxiety from,
Yeah.
when I would use alcohol, it would give me anxiety. And
Right.
cannabis it was just an alternative
Mm-hmm.
to getting fucked up with
Right.
everybody.
For sure.
Excuse my language.
No, you're
But
good. This is
okay,
YouTube,
I
baby.
wasn't sure.
White girl wasted. I went to
But
OU. You know what I mean? So it's
yeah,
party
yeah.
central, baby.
No, you were. You definitely were.
I was
Um
getting white boy and white girl wasted a couple times.
uh yeah, no. In cannabis though, I feel like a lot of the negativity is
Yeah.
just it really has to do it's really rooted in racism is what it
Yeah.
is. I
Right.
mean, if you want to be honest.
Well, we have
So
to start being honest, right? I
yeah,
appreciate your
yeah.
honesty because
It
not
is.
everybody wants to go there, right?
No, I mean, if you want to go back to the beginning, Harry
Yes,
Anslinger, I
Andrew.
think was his
Yeah.
name, was the
Yeah.
very first one that,
Yeah.
he was the very first, probably not the very first, but, the Donald Trump of,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. And I mean, that
this is
whole,
not safe. This is not okay.
right.
And it's because white people aren't
Right.
doing it. It's
Well, and
because
what,
it's a
what,
different culture.
and so, right, when you talk about Harry Anslinger and that whole political thing, what happened was, so we have to look at history, right? And so, what
Hmm.
I like to do is break down history, how we even got to 2026, right? Black people haven't always been free. So, you look at when the war on drugs really started, right? And that
Hmm.
started like the 1960s, 1970s.
Hmm.
So, we were getting out of the Jim Crow civil rights movement. And
Yep.
so, Black people were getting freedoms, Black people were making money. We were using weed, entertainment. And so, what did they do? They put weed on all of our entertainers, right? They said, oh, these jazz musicians have white girls come in dancing,
Yep.
everybody. Now we're mixing and mingling, we're making money. We have to bring an end to this because this is not good. So
Yeah.
then you start the war on drugs and then you use marijuana, right, which associates it with Mexicans,
Yep.
Hispanics, Latinos. And so now you gaslight that demographic, you gaslight
Hmm.
the Black and brown people, African Americans. And now we're able to go to, let's say, like middle America, to
Hmm.
some of these pasty white folks that have no culture and say these people are taking over and they're
Yeah.
using weed to do it. They're taking your women, they're taking your job. And so then you
Yeah.
make it federally illegal.
Yep.
And you say this, then you lump weed in with all the other harsh drugs, right? And so now
Hmm.
cannabis was Schedule 1 with what heroin, all these other drugs, even though most people weren't consuming those harsher drugs. They were just consuming cannabis to help them relax, have a good time. But also it started taking money away from the tobacco industry, the alcohol
That
industry, right?
that part,
And
yeah.
so then also, right, criminality. Now you have
Hmm.
people not going to prison because they're calmed down. And so there's been
And
a
that's
whole,
not good when we have
right,
for-profit prisons.
right.
They want to keep those filled because that's free slave labor
Yeah. And
for
it's a
them.
profit industry
It
for,
is,
those
yeah.
private companies, right?
And
So,
so keeping things like cannabis illegal is, all part of the system of oppression
and capitalism, because
and
once you can,
capital.
like, right, we can grow our own weed. So now
Hmm.
you can't stop, somebody might be going for pills. Now they can go to their local herbalist
Yep.
and get some products that help them with their arthritis, their chronic pain, their
Hmm.
IBS, their MS, all these other, their ADHD. And so
Hmm.
now you're taking money away from the healthcare system and the pharmaceutical companies, and
Yes.
it
Yeah.
throws a complete wrench into the system.
Yeah, and it's all connected,
Hmm.
from when you go to the doctor and then, it goes through your insurance, then you go to the pharmacy. Most of these are all owned by the same guy,
Yeah.
at the top. So it
And our
having
politicians are getting
something,
kickbacks.
yeah, and having something holistic that is grown from the ground that
Mhm,
they can't control is
mhm,
scary, I
for sure.
think, for
Yeah.
them,
Well, and
you
it
know?
brings us together. Look, you got me
Yeah,
and you having conversations. We've met a couple
exactly.
times in public. We've gone to the state house and testified. Are you a millennial? You
I
considered a millennial?
am. I
So
am a millennial.
we're millennials, I'm a 36-year-old millennial. So, it's one of those things where there's a divergence of cultures. And I think we're seeing like the last of the dying breed. Obviously, the boomers are still in heavy control of politically, monetarily.
Yeah.
But I feel like our generation, we're the second largest generation, and we gotta, at some point, we gotta start using our voices, using our knowledge, our information. Like, we are grown. You know what I mean? We have a right to choose, you know, what we use and what we consume. And so I think it's important that we have these conversations while, you know, just being human, right? And just allowing ourselves, it's okay that you may be dealing with an ADHD or depression. Like, that doesn't make you a bad person, right? It doesn't make you, you know, we have to get out of these stigmas of labeling people, and people are so afraid. Like, even with cannabis, like, I've tried to get so many people to just talk. You know what I mean? Like, just talk, just share what you know, this is life. We all deal with something, you know?
Yeah, no, I know.
So let's talk about, you know, obviously, so you left college?
Yeah, so I ended up, hang on, let me grab my water.
Yep.
I ended up, so I stopped going to nursing school. It just was not for me.
Yeah, wasn't feasible, right?
No, it wasn't.
I'm gonna put this in there because obviously college is expensive. Everybody can't afford college.
Yeah.
People are graduating college and can't find jobs.
Yeah.
So we tell you, oh, go to school, get your education, then you can't get a job, then you can't pay back the student loans, then you got artificial intelligence taking over.
Yeah, and then you're stuck in their system.
But you can't smoke weed, you know what I mean? You can drink as much alcohol and pills.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you live in a country that's not run like a country, it's run like a business. And so that's something that we're all dealing with here. And so that's also something that, you know, can bring us all together, you know, along with cannabis. And that's something that I actually found really cool since I have been in cannabis is the amount of different people that I see. Like from 21 years old to 99 years old, you know, you see them all. And I've seen how it, you know, shapes in everybody's life.
Right.
And that's also something, you know, that brings us together, unites us, that is scary for, you know, the capitalistic society.
Well, I think it's only bad for like one particular like type of capitalist, you know what I mean? Like, which is typically older white dudes. Right? Like, you know, you kind of got to be blatant because most of us ain't there. You know what I mean? You might have a rich uncle or something. But most of us is not old, rich white dudes that could get away with whatever the fuck they want, but they want to control the pot, right? They want to control everything.
Yes.
And I think that's part of the issue.
Yeah. So they demonize it. And now when they realize that they can make money off of it, they want their hand in it.
And that brings us to SB 56, but we won't go there just yet. Talk to us about Cleveland School of Cannabis. You mentioned that.
Yeah.
So was that after you left school?
It was, yeah. So after nursing school, I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go. This is when I ended up moving down to Columbus. And I had learned about the Cleveland School of Cannabis. At the time, they had a branch down in Columbus. So that's where I was going. I think I did a couple classes online too. I loved it. It was super informative. It was amazing. The cannabis history class I taught was one of the most interesting classes I've ever taken. It was very helpful, helped me, you know, very knowledgeable. And when I went to apply for that, actually, I saw a scholarship from Bone Thugs and Harmony, I believe it was. It was a Women in Cannabis scholarship. So I wrote an essay and I ended up getting it. So they paid for a good chunk of my school, which was very helpful. Yeah.
Bone Thugs. Shout out to Bone Thugs.
I know. So funny. But yeah, so I went there and that was when I first started in the industry. You know, I started, I was budtending at first, you know, and then moved into like a
What was that like? Tell the people, like, what is it like to be a bud? Because this is new. I mean, a lot of us used to go in to get the weed from the dealer, you know, in the corner. You know, let the people know, because this has been we've had 6 years now of legalization. The first 5 was medical, so you couldn't even go to the dispensary unless you had a medical card. We've only had adult use recreational for a little bit over a year. So because Ohio, we're behind.
Very.
Like, we're so behind. Like I got friends
Yeah.
in Maryland, I got friends in New Jersey, I got friends in
Hmm.
California. So we're super behind. So, but
Yeah.
again, bring the people up to speed. What is it like to go into this? Some of these dispensaries are about looking like Apple iPhone stores. You know
So
what I mean?
it's a little weird because in Ohio we can't be deli style.
Right.
So when a lot of people think about like going into a dispensary,
Hmm.
I think of I'm going in, I'm seeing all the cannabis, I'm smelling it, I'm
Smelling it.
picking out what I want. It's not like that here.
Unfortunately.
So, unfortunately, no, it's not. And it does suck. So, that is something like as a bud tender, you're constantly explaining to people because they,
Right.
especially, when we first started, people were coming
Right.
in, they're like, where's the weed? And I'm like, it's back there
It's in
in
the back.
locked up, packaged. Maybe you can see it.
Right. If they got a good baggie or a jar.
Yeah, yeah. So it was a lot of like people coming in very confused at
Mm,
first, not being able to see that, and then
right.
along with the weights that Ohio does, because if
Right.
people don't know,
The tenths.
Ohio doesn't do normal eighths, quarters. Now I believe I just heard that they are going to start allowing companies to do that.
Okay.
However, you have to apply through the state
Right.
if you would like to change up your
Change it.
weights. Yeah. So when we first started, people were coming in and they're like, oh, I want an eighth, I want a gram. And we're like, sorry, it's in 2.83s or
Hmm.
5.66s. So I remember when we first started, just a lot of education, a lot of explaining.
And the
Um,
state wasn't doing it.
no,
The
not at all.
companies aren't really doing it. You had to do it individually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I will say that definitely. Um, and oh, where was I?
Weights and the the
Yeah.
dispensary bud
Yeah, the
tending.
dispensary life.
Yeah.
So I loved the whole when it was just medical. It was
Mhm.
really fun for me
Yeah.
because people were coming in and we were having like more in-depth conversations about what
Hmm.
people were looking for. And I am
Hmm.
so happy that we are recreational. Like I
Yeah.
think you shouldn't have to have a medical card to go get it, right?
Right.
But I will say since we have gone recreational, it feels like it's been a lot less of the conversation, and I feel like I've seen a lot more of just like looking for the highest THC
Hmm.
percentage, which we hear,
Hmm.
which most bud tenders will tell you they hear all the time,
For
right? They
sure.
come in and they're like, I want the highest THC. And I don't
Hmm.
know how we got to that as a state
Yeah.
doing, I don't know how it's been so laser focused for the
Hmm.
consumers to come in and look for the highest THC percentage.
Hmm.
So that's, and I mean, that's where education comes in, that's
Right.
where my job comes into play, where I'm talking about the terpenes and I'm talking about, the minor cannabinoids and
Mhm.
everything else that matters in the plant.
So talk to the people and let them know since you are an educator, and that's why we got you on, right? Because we need people that have the knowledge, right? You have some of that, Western medicine, you got some
Oh,
nursing in, you got a little
yeah.
bit, right? But again, like nursing is more about, like you said, when you were first in the dispensary, it was medical, you got to talk to the
Hmm.
patients, right? You
Hmm.
got to see what they were really dealing with, right?
Hmm.
And see, oh, this may be better for you, right? If you're dealing with arthritis, you may not need you might not want a vape or a tincture. You might just want a topical, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think that is very important. But again, who is doing that education? Like, why do we have this like barrier in education? Why aren't we talking about THC isn't the thing? Right. I feel like we have to, as
Yeah.
consumers, as people in community, have to be the ones to be like, nah,
Yeah.
THC ain't the only thing. So tell people why THC isn't what you want to shop for
Yeah,
necessarily.
just because, the highest THC doesn't necessarily mean that that is going to be the best cannabis for you, or it's
Hmm.
going to be even something that makes you feel the highest, right?
Hmm.
I've had some cannabis that could be 18%, and if those terpenes are right on that,
Hmm.
it's hitting like a 33%er.
Right.
And terpenes are going to be, the taste and the flavor of
Hmm.
cannabis.
Hmm.
But you find terpenes in everything. You find
Right.
it in plants, you find it in our food, but they also have medicinal benefits, which is, where my job kind of comes into play as, being the brand rep.
Right.
And bud tenders do this as well every
Right.
single day. The state of Ohio, I mean, I'm not exactly sure on all the laws, but I know that they are very strict when it comes to, what the education that we can put out there, because they consider it medical advice,
Right.
and we can't do that.
Right.
And so that's frustrating then, because, to have it be medical advice, you have to have it, have studies done,
For
but you
sure.
can't have studies done if it was scheduled.
And it's federally illegal. And the studies typically go
Yeah.
through our federally funded universities like Ohio State University, which
Yeah.
is a federal land grant institute, which has
Mhm.
billions of dollars to do research. And then when
Mhm.
they do research, they typically do negative research, right? They'll do the
Yeah.
research on the bad parts of it. And,
Yes. And not like how it can, benefit people.
yeah.
And so, the people that are seeing the benefits of this are the bud tenders, are the people that are,
Right.
working in the industry. I mean, I can tell you that when I first started in the industry, I remember I had a patient it was a child having very bad seizures. We got them on some gummies, started on like a daily dose, like low dose,
Right.
and got their seizures under control to the point where instead of having, like 10 a week, they were having one or two.
Right.
So, I mean, I've seen it firsthand,
Mhm.
right? I've seen cancer patients come in who can't get food down, and
Right.
they are literally withering away,
Right.
and have come in, and, unfortunately, they're relying on all of that education, from the people that are in the store.
Right.
And I mean, I guess not unfortunately, like, I
Well, but you
wish
got to think
I
they're
wish
going
it
to
could be
doctors. Yeah,
exactly, and so it is a difference,
for sure.
because we're all learning everything that we know from experience and from each
Right.
other.
For sure.
Yeah. So
And just
definitely a different ball game, I guess.
for sure. And just for a disclaimer for YouTube, universe, social media world, this is not medical advice. This
No.
is news, entertainment, personal opinion, and conversations.
Yes.
Got to put
Yes.
those disclaimers out there because this
I
world
get
is
it.
insane. But and just being in medical, most people don't even know. Like I've been seeing a lot of First Amendment people. They'll go outside a dispensary and everybody's like, "Oh, you're violating my HIPAA rights. You are outside in public, ma'am,
You're
sir."
outside in public. I know. That is, I've actually dealt with that at a place that I worked. We had one of
Yeah.
those. Yeah. And I have seen some of those videos. So I knew. I was like, nobody say anything,
Right.
because he's gonna take whatever snippet he can get
Right.
and make it into a YouTube video
That's what's
and make you
insane to
look
me.
crazy. So just don't say anything.
Just
Everybody
go get in
shut
your
up.
car and leave. Like
Everybody shut up.
that's what I love though about that Afroman thing because that was basically
Oh
what he
my
did.
God. Gerald, I can't. Phenomenal.
That's Ohio
Phenomenal.
Cannabis. That's
I
Ohio
know.
Cannabis. They thought they was about to get a big drug bust and do pictures, and they got embarrassed.
They got lemon
My
pound
goodness.
cake.
Lemon pound cake is crazy.
Yeah, lemon pound cake.
I'm working on getting Afroman on the show too. So
Oh, that's a
I'm about-
great idea. You absolutely should.
we
Yeah,
go try to get him on here.
I
All right.
love it.
So now you're at the dispensaries, and then you've just worked your way up. Now you're a brand
Yeah,
rep. Tell us
yeah.
about, that trajectory, obviously the industry from a women's perspective too, right? I know obviously women in the cannabis industry is still very kind of like a unique thing, I would say. We don't see our women being as public or vocal about cannabis. And I think we should because,
Yeah.
we have, you want men to know things, but then you don't tell us about things, so we got to learn, so this is a chance. We don't know about PMS. We don't know about menopause and all the things y'all go through.
No.
But I think cannabis is a great way to kind of have those conversations and let us know
Yeah.
what sometimes y'all go through.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, now that you're bringing it up, I really have never done a lot of research
Hmm.
into how cannabis and affects like women and their periods and whatnot.
Yeah.
But you've got my mind
Well,
turned.
because I mean, I know you guys. It's painful, right?
No,
Like
yeah,
cramps.
it absolutely
So
is.
I would assume like it helps with easing
A
cramps,
hundred
right?
percent it
And
does.
probably the mental
Yeah.
side of things,
Back pains
back
that you
pain,
might get during it. Absolutely.
right?
It all helps with that. A
Right.
100%.
Which again, from my vantage point as a healthcare, and it's like women, it's like those are the conversations y'all gotta have because
You're right.
again, y'all are dealing with some of these things that men we don't deal with. Like the mental health we gotta deal with as men, right? We
Yeah.
gotta deal with
Yeah.
our emotional, and we have other physical things, but I think some of those internal things that we can't see.
Yeah.
Right. So as a man, like if we show up to work the same day as y'all, but you may be on that time, like you may be not in the mood. You know what I mean? It is not the time.
Could be. Yeah. No. I've really, now you've got my head turning and I'm going to be looking into that
There you go. And let's talk about it,
because
ladies. If you
yeah,
dealt with this,
please. If anybody has, any advice or anything that has helped you during your periods, reach out to
yeah,
me.
talk to Kenzie, man. Ladies, we
I
need
want to
all
know.
the. And I mean, I know obviously, pregnancy. You're not a mom or anything, but
No.
pregnancy and people that deal with, just those different, women things that y'all go through. I think cannabis is still such a viable option
It is.
for a lot of
And
things that
yeah.
it necessarily may not get talked about because it's still,
No, I
you know,
know. And I know that I'm not exactly sure what, if a woman goes in to give birth and,
yeah,
they do test positive for cannabis. I'm not really sure
right,
exactly what would happen. But I mean, I know that it helps with, a lot of the things that come
right,
along with pregnancy.
right.
Now, I don't know if I would be smoking.
Smoking, right.
Yeah, if anything, I would probably do like tinctures or
Hmm.
edibles or something like that. But I'm not
Topicals,
in the world to give advice on
for sure.
on what to do when you're pregnant,
Me
unfortunately.
either. Me either.
I'm not sure about that.
so, now you're in the industry. What has it been easy for you being a woman in cannabis? I talk about white girls in cannabis all the time. You know this, but obviously we see like because it's been illegal. So some people are getting locked up for the same thing that now we're selling, or they're still locked up, or they're still penalized. But have you felt like it's been harder being a woman in cannabis? Or have you run into any issues?
You know, I wouldn't say so often, but there
Mhm.
have been times, where, there are a lot of men in this industry.
Right.
Hands down, there are.
Mhm.
And, there are times where you're the only woman in the group and,
Mhm.
you might not feel like your voice is being heard as much. Um, but I I am used to kind of being in like that. I came from the bartending world too. I
Right.
bartended
Okay.
forever. So
So you used to it. You bar
I'm used to
family.
being in like a man's world and like
Yeah.
I will speak up and I will get my word out and I will,
Good for you.
but that's also my personality.
Right. You pack it up. Yeah. I mean, you ain't.
I'll go in there. I don't care who you are. I will say it.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
And no, I know that, but that's my personality, like I said.
Mhm.
And I know I've definitely seen some women get treated a lot differently in this industry than some of
Mhm.
the boys do. Absolutely.
Okay.
Always.
And what would you, let's say, what would type of advice would you give to maybe somebody in college, a young person looking into the cannabis industry? Do you have any advice for the girls, the girlies, for being in the
Mm,
cannabis industry
oh my gosh.
or getting involved?
Um, I would say, if this is something that you do want to get into, absolutely do it. I know
Mhm.
that people might not, say that the money is there, which I get, but I will say that it's like one of the best industries I've ever been in, especially
Mhm.
when it comes to the people.
Mhm.
Um, it feels like I'm actually doing something. It feels like I'm making changes when I'm out there and I'm talking to people. And that is just, educating on a plant that has been stigmatized for so long
Mhm.
has been something that I'm blessed that I'm able to do.
Mhm.
And if that is something that you're interested in and you want to go against, the normal grain of what society says,
Mhm.
then I say do it. And,
Yeah.
get make your voice heard,
Right.
get your foot in the door with
Mhm.
people, go to the state house. You can just
Right.
go there and talk to people.
Yeah.
I've done that. You can just go up and talk to people. Make yourself put yourself in the room
Right.
is what I would say.
Yeah.
And put yourself out there because I don't think you'll regret it.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I would add on to that, I mean, this is still technically a new industry, right? Like we're
Mhm.
still fleshing and building out what the industry really is or looks like. And so I think there's tons of opportunities, but like
Definitely.
you said, you just got to do it, right? Like you just got to
Yeah.
get your foot in the door. Don't
Yeah.
look at, I think a lot of people look at the money. And it's like a lot of these jobs ain't paying a lot, but
No, none of them are.
you know, but at least
Not
cannabis
a
is
lot of
it's
jobs are.
right. Especially fresh out of school or,
Yeah.
if you are
But at least you're doing something you're passionate
you're
about.
passionate about, right.
You could go work at Kroger. You might make the same amount as working as a bud tender, but
Right.
like at least you're doing something that you're passionate about and you're out there and you're changing the stigma around
Right.
it. And
Yeah.
I think that's what's important. And so if you have that passion, like that's what we need in this industry is
Right.
people with passion about the plan. Because I think sometimes people get into the industry because, they just think that they're just going to get high
Get
and it's
high, yeah.
fun and it's cool. And then they start working in the Ohio industry and they're like, wait, I work for the state of Ohio. This is way
Mhm.
more complicated than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It's not just you go in and, you go toke up outside every hour. It's a lot different, and I think
Yeah.
some people get into it and they think it's going to be something and it's
Right.
not. And it is still a job at the end of the day,
It's a
but
state license, like she
it's a
said.
state license, yeah, so no drinking and driving,
Mhm.
no DUIs.
Mhm.
um
And as of SB 56, you can't even smoke in your car no more, so
no, which is a whole nother issue on its own, because I mean, i I know more people that rent than own. And I think that's a majority of Ohioans. I mean, we have an Ohio housing crisis right now.
right.
And the fact that, they're trying to take away from where you can use it,
Mhm.
I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't think you're meant to understand it, and I don't think
No,
any
we're
of us are
not.
meant to understand it. Again, I
No.
think it comes back to racism. I think it
Yep.
comes back to classism.
Yep.
Because again, when you look at, we'll just dive into SB 56. So we didn't get the signatures needed to pause SB 56 and put it on the ballot for November. They just came out and said that. So
Yeah.
SB 56 goes into law tomorrow, which
Hmm.
there's a lot of it basically guts issue two and what we voted for. Over 57% of Ohioans voted for, which was public consumption. So wherever you could drink, just like alcohol around, walk around, you could consume. You
Hmm.
can grow up to 12 plants. They still kept that, but they cut it off. If you grow more than 12 plants, it's fines, criminal penalties. If you travel to Michigan and purchase legal cannabis and you bring it back across state lines, even though it's legally purchased, that's considered a crime. If you're traveling with cannabis and it's not in the trunk of the car or the farthest part behind the driver's seat, if you don't have a trunk, that's a fine and a crime. Um,
Could I stop you?
yeah,
So
go ahead.
this is where I get confused
Yeah.
because we still have a medical program, right? So imagine, let's say you go to your pharmacy and you go inside and you get your prescription, but then you go outside, but you're not allowed to take your prescription. You need to
Mhm,
put your prescription in the trunk and then you need to drive home. And
mhm.
then but you rent. So you can't take your prescription inside. So you take it in your car, right? No, you can't do that either. So where do you do it?
You damn, like you screwed, like because then
I mean,
again,
it just doesn't make any sense to me. It really
because
doesn't.
because our state, the way our state is being run right now, they don't give a fuck. You know what I
No.
mean? Like they want people in prison, they want people on alcohol, they want people on
Mhm.
pills, they
Yep.
want people in the mental health hospitals because
Mhm.
again, like we said earlier, it's all financial and somebody's pockets, right? So
Yeah.
even to that point, we have drive-throughs, right? So you can go to the drive-through, pick
You're
up your
right. Wait,
weed,
what are you supposed to do with that?
get out the car, go put in the now, like
In the drive-through.
what they
Could
gonna be
you
waiting
imagine you
outside
go
the
to
dispensaries?
McDonald's? You go to McDonald's and they get you your burger and you're like, hang on. I
Hang
gotta
on.
put it in my
Actually, I'm gonna open my trunk. Just throw it in there for me.
Yeah, I'll pull up a little bit. Will you slam it shut too?
I don't have the automatic door closer, you know.
I don't have that kind of money.
But this is why I've been trying to get people riled up because it's like this is about to fuck a lot of people
It
up.
is.
Like this
Absolutely.
is the law now. Like this is
Yeah.
adding fines. People can't even afford $300 emergency, let alone a
Mm-mm.
$500 fine or a
No.
$1,000 fine after
No.
you just bought some expensive weed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, or you just took a trip up to Michigan, you done $400 up there because you done bought a pound or whatever. You take a group of people, now you
Yeah.
come back. And so I'm like, and again, when we were at the state house, I mean, it's been a year and we were testifying. We had plenty
Mhm.
of people over, 30 plus people testifying against the different bills. And so we've been following this very closely. You've been up to the state house, but there hasn't been a lot of people. And I know there's way
Um,
more people than the 40 that show up or the 40 that are vocal
Yeah.
on social media
Yeah.
or Reddit, right? Everybody's loud on Reddit. But it's like, yo, you got to show up to the state house, right? You got to call your
Yes.
senators. You got to call
Yes.
your state representative. You have to make a meeting, get a group of 5, 10, 20 people,
Yep.
embarrass these people. Do what Afroman just did. He just
Do what the
embarrassed the whole
Rooster's doing
do
every day at
every
the
day.
state house.
Like the rooster and
Phenomenal
people.
work.
Hey, the rooster is making probably 6 figures doing what he's doing too. Independent media and journalism. Yeah.
Oh no shit.
Yeah. That's why he's so good. Because
He
you
is
got to think
good.
he's on Substack, and so they're paid subscriptions on Substack. I don't
Okay.
know how many followers he has on there, but I mean, he
Huh.
has a pretty good following on Instagram and Facebook, and I don't know what he did previously to this. I mean, he always talks
Yeah.
about his drinking, but DJ's cool. I've met him a couple times and we've talked.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no,
um,
I love watching him get up in there in people's faces, but that's what everybody should be doing.
they work for us.
Exactly. It's
If
our house.
it's
They
our
work for
house,
us.
the
Yeah,
tax money,
you can go up in there and go in multiple different areas if you want. You can go
yeah.
pretty almost everywhere in the state house.
All you need, I think. Wait, I don't even know if you need. I don't forget if you need an ID or whatever. But you literally could just go in there, walk around, like take pictures, do a video.
Mhm.
Obviously, when you go into the meeting rooms, the hearing rooms, the committee rooms, if you want to do content or video, you have to
You do have
sign
to
a
get
waiver.
approved, yeah. Or
You just got to sign a waiver.
oh, okay.
They don't really because again, it's public. It's a public space,
Yeah.
right? At the end of the
Yeah.
day. But again, part of the issue with news media, my wife's a news anchor, and what we have to
Yeah.
understand is that a lot of news, they have lost a lot of their workers and reporters, right? Because a lot of consolidation. So they don't necessarily have the bandwidth to cover everything at the state house. And so we don't get a lot
Okay.
of information because they may have 1 or 2 reporters at the state house, but there's
Mhm.
hundreds of bills that are being worked on all the time at the state
Yeah.
house. And so we need more people to do independent journalism, right?
Yeah.
We all have these now, right?
Yeah.
4K cameras, you can go live,
Yep.
use it, And
Yeah.
so I think that's one of the things we can take from the Rooster and from what we do over here is,
Yeah.
we just try to shine a light on what's going on in the community because a lot of people are busy working, and then
Mhm.
you want to have a little bit of fun, so you're going to
Well,
go
that's the
socialize.
thing. Yeah, they keep us so busy working, so you don't have time to,
Know what the
pay
fuck is going on?
attention to these things. And it's tough, but I think when this bill takes effect tomorrow, which by the way is my birthday. Happy birthday
Oh,
to me.
they screwed you on the birthday. Happy
They
birthday!
really did.
My
It's
gosh,
like thanks
come
so
on,
much.
DeWine
Literally, like thank you so much, Daddy DeWine. I
Huffman.
appreciate it. But I think when it starts to affect more and more people is
Yeah,
when we're going to finally start to see more people like rising up and getting
yeah.
together. I'm just afraid, It's too
Yeah.
late right now, but I mean,
Well, and this,
things can change. Things can always change.
yeah. Well, and the thing is, we do have a governor's race coming up. So, we have
Yes.
that, which
Yes.
I think will change, but we also have to educate the governors or the
Yep.
people who are running. So even
Yeah.
if like, Amy Acton is like, well, she's a doctor. So is she going to be really on board with cannabis, even
You're
though she's a
right.
Democratic opponent? And then you have Vivek Ramaswamy, who's obviously been endorsed by Trump. He's running under a Republican arm. He's in biopharmaceutical companies. So is he going to be on board with
Yeah,
cannabis?
very true. Very
So,
true.
again, the education process is a continuous process. And I think
Mhm.
all of us have to really understand, just because you are in the cannabis industry, just because you smoke cannabis, just because you grow it, we should be educating our communities about cannabis and about
Yeah.
the issues that folks are dealing with that cannabis helps them with, not just, oh, I'm trying to make money off of selling weed. You
Yeah.
know, I
Yeah.
think that has to be, more of our North Star than just, oh, I'm trying to have a job, I'm trying to build this career.
Hmm.
Because again, cannabis is way more broader, right? You're in the industry now, so you've been working your way up. So you see the marketing, you see the sales, you see the brand development, product development,
Hmm.
all the different sides, right? And so I think we have to really understand that with it being an industry, like there's way more opportunities in the space than just selling cannabis or just coming up with strains or
Yeah.
having a
Oh,
dispensary.
yeah, definitely. And that's what I love about, my job. Like, I'm working for Ancient Roots right now, which is like a
Mhm.
super small craft cannabis company.
Go
They
ahead, shout them out.
specialize, yeah, Ancient
We
Roots.
we appreciate
So,
Ancient Roots because I'm gonna cut you off because Ancient Roots is sponsoring, and I'll just do a little event promo. We got the Ohio Cannabis Social Equity Forum, April 4th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tickets are limited and tickets are selling out. So go ahead, it's free. We just ask that you RSVP. This is a community forward event. And so I want to thank Kenzie for getting us the community sponsorship with Ancient Roots. They're our first industry partner, and we rock with them because they're not a part of that other industry group that we be talking about on here sometimes. So this is why we went with them. I ain't gonna put them on blast. I ain't gonna do Kenzie like that. But we appreciate Ancient Roots for the support of the
well, thank
community.
you. I just started with them back in January, and it has been like a breath of fresh air. I love
Glad to hear that.
working for, yeah, it's a very small company. So, like when you go there, the CEO is there. He is at the
Okay.
grow all the time.
Dope.
And it's very different from a lot of these companies that are, now big MSOs,
Hmm.
multi-state operators
Right.
that,
Cartels.
where that
They got caught. Hey, this is public knowledge. I ain't defaming
literally.
nobody. The attorney general called y'all
Yeah.
cartels. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It is. And so like, having a boss that at my last job that was like, a multimillionaire, lives in New York City, doesn't know
Hmm.
my name. It's
Right.
so nice like coming into like a space where, at Ancient Roots it's very small. We do all solventless products, so
Okay.
like no chemicals, heat, water, pressure is
Okay.
what we focus on. They're out of Wilmington, Ohio,
Okay.
but yeah, it's been very nice.
We
And
got. Can we get
so
a tour? Ohio Cannabis Report tour. Can you hook us up?
yeah. Oh my God,
And
I'd love
I got
to.
to interview. I got to interview your boss too. Tell him I
Yeah.
want to interview.
Okay. Yeah, I'll talk to him about it. Absolutely. I'd love to
So
get you guys out there. That would be awesome.
keep telling us about your team.
Yeah. So let's see. The team is awesome. I'm working with Shonda Hall. If you know
Okay.
her, shout out
I think I've
Shonda.
seen her. Yep.
She's doing sales with us.
Okay.
So it's been a great a few months. I'm
Gotcha.
still learning a lot about them, but right now I'm loving it. Yeah,
Dope.
it's
I'm
nice to
glad to hear
work
that.
for a small company that like really cares about the product that they're putting out.
Right.
It's not just like they're not trying to be the McDonald's of weed and just
Right.
get shit out the door to make a buck.
Right.
They like everybody there like really cares, and
For
it's
sure.
it's been a very, I love it. Love it.
And
And
that's,
so
I
I'm
mean, that's
happy
so
that we could
important.
support the forum coming
For
up. I'm
sure.
excited to be there.
Yeah, we appreciate you. And I think that's important. And that's one of the things, right? Like, being in Ohio now and being here for a minute and seeing how some of these companies or big wigs come in here and just take over, but
It's
they
so
end up
important
screwing.
to have the
Yeah.
small companies. They're
Yeah.
so important.
And with cannabis, right? Like you don't want the McDonald's of cannabis, right? You want somebody that actually cares about what they're doing and
Yeah.
what they're growing. And, they're not
Yeah.
just trying to get shit out the door. They care about their employers and
Yeah.
employees, right? And so
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's what a lot of us Ohioans want. Like I think a lot of Ohioans really do like that kind of, craft. It's just like alcohol, right? People like the craft
Definitely.
alcohol. And
Yeah.
that's what we voted for, right? We voted for tier 3. We voted for craft grow. We voted for home growers to be able to grow their own and potentially sell to dispensaries. But again, SB 56 has gutted all of those things
Hmm.
where, again, it's making it harder for companies like yours to compete with multi-state operators who are doing
Definitely.
backroom deals with each other. They're giving each other
It's monopoly
discounts,
money.
shelf space, right? And it's all
Yeah.
private equity too, right? So
Yeah.
it's a cash only business,
Yep.
which again, it just runs a numbers game. So we appreciate, your company for doing what you're doing, and supporting local communities. Um, Tell us something else about, what you've seen, I guess, from the brand side of things, the brand rep side of things. What
Mhm.
does that necessarily entail if somebody's looking at this and saying, well, she's a brand rep? What does that actually mean and
Sure,
do? What is
yeah.
your role?
So, what I do is, so I work with the sales team, setting up like promotions at different spots, right?
Okay.
So, making sure that we're on sale somewhere, and then what I will do is I'll set up. We call them PEDs in Ohio,
Okay.
patient education days. And
Okay.
so you'll see vendors set up from different companies, just with like, some of their stuff out, some education materials. We're
Hmm.
there to talk to you. If you have
Yeah.
any questions about anything cannabis wise, like, and you see a vendor out
Hmm.
when you're at a dispensary, please go up and talk to them because, they are there to help.
For
And
sure.
so I cover the whole state of Ohio. So I'm
Okay.
everywhere. So,
You
like,
all over the
yesterday I
place.
was in Cleveland. Day before that, I was in Cincinnati. So I am bouncing all over the state, but I love it. It's cool getting to go everywhere and also seeing the different parts of the state and
Hmm.
how, what their dispensaries look like.
For
Like, for
sure.
example, a lot of the border towns,
Hmm.
especially in like southern Ohio,
Hmm.
they are so busy.
Yeah.
So busy. And then you go, for example, like to my hometown, like around Bowling Green.
Hmm.
They're not, right?
Mm.
And Northwest Ohio, they
Right.
struggle in that area. But
Is that,
then
would you say that's probably because they're closer to Michigan?
yes.
Think so?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I know so. Yeah. I mean, even when I started in the industry, I had a lot of friends that didn't even realize that it was legal in Ohio
Right.
because, they don't let us advertise.
Right.
They
Yeah. Well,
don't
there's
let
no
us
advertising,
educate.
marketing. Yeah.
No, we
Marketing.
can't advertise, we can't educate, we can't, so and that's the tough part of, just trying to get that knowledge out there.
Right.
Yeah.
And those borderings are again at the bottom. What we have Kentucky.
Yep, West
So I think
Virginia.
West Virginia. So Kentucky is just now, I think, legalizing, and then you also have Pennsylvania over here.
Yep, and
So
then we also have them on the Indiana border, which
Indiana, yeah.
there's a couple there, and I will tell you, I went to one dispensary over on the border, and
Mhm.
they like almost had never even seen a medical patient before because everybody's from a different,
Right. That's
from over
crazy.
there. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
So it's very interesting, like, seeing how
Hmm.
different everything
Right.
is because I mean, there are a lot of different spaces in Ohio.
Yeah, and there's a lot of silos in Ohio, right? Like you have your major cities, you have
Hmm.
Cleveland, Cincinnati, Columbus, but then you have your smaller town, your Dayton's, your Akrons,
Toledo,
your
Youngstown.
Toledos,
Yeah.
Youngstowns, and then Ohio is still, I think, don't think, but Ohio is still recovering, right? Because Ohio was a manufacturing state, and so
Hmm.
a lot of these small towns, which were doing well, previously, a lot of the manufacturing and the big businesses left, and so a lot of these economies are struggling. And what cannabis has done is almost revive some of these communities by giving
Definitely.
jobs, right?
Yes.
Helping with the
Yes.
opioid crisis, which again,
Yes.
Ohio was a hotbed for the opioid epidemic.
Hmm.
And so we're seeing, a lot of different, I would say, trends and cultural shifts happening. And it's, cannabis just happens to be at the intersection of those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dope.
I love seeing that.
So what's something that you would say like If somebody was against, because I know a lot of people don't like the smell of weed, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
but also there's a huge issue where people don't realize, well, smoking it is one of the easiest ways to get it into your body. It's
Mm-hmm.
one of the most economic ways, right? It's cost effective for most people who, again, maybe renters, maybe, working class. So, what would be like if you could talk to somebody who was against weed or who was for SB 56? What would be some of the things that you would say to them to, help ease their minds or get them to think a little bit differently?
Hmm. I think that I think a lot of people have trouble understanding things that they haven't experienced.
Hmm.
So, I think that I would start by, like, showing them actual cases, meeting
Hmm.
actual people, telling them to
Right.
talk to people,
Hmm.
is how I would start
Right.
off.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, you got, and I think a lot of times, like the people that do that are like the shut-in people, right? They don't talk to people. They're not
Yeah.
social. They
Yeah.
they stay in their one-track mind, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And they just don't understand. No, that's a great question. I've Yeah.
well, because I think too, like as cannabis folks, like we get so in our world, and it's like, well, I'm doing it, and this is just normal to me, so it should be normal
Yeah.
to other people. And it's like, no, like there's still people that have been so conditioned. Like we've all, like not everybody, but a lot of people went through dare, right?
Yeah.
So how many
Yeah.
people are like full blood adults, 35, 36, 40, 50, that are still living off of the dare motto
Yeah.
and haven't,
Yeah.
don't, but still taking Advil and Tylenol every time they get a headache,
No, I know. And that's so hard. And I mean, it's all about education, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's tough. It's tough to get people to change their minds on
Can't teach an
things
old
that,
dog.
yeah, that they have, been brainwashed into thinking and hardwired into thinking since, they were in elementary school. It's
Right.
very hard. I mean, my late grandparents, who passed a couple years ago, when I first went to Cleveland School of Cannabis, I remember them being like, "Is this a real place?" I was like, "What do you think I'm doing?" Like, going to a back alley and,
Is
like,
this a real
meeting
place?
with some people. Like, they didn't like, they couldn't even, like, fathom the fact that, like, there was actually a school for that. So, I think it's also about, like, exposure. You
Right.
know, the longer that this goes on, I think the easier it's gonna get for us. At least I
Hmm.
hope. And we just got to keep trucking forward.
Yeah, one can only hope. One can only hope. I
Yeah.
am, I was hopeful. I was a little skeptical about SB or the referendum on SB 56, just because I know it takes so much money in Ohio. Like Ohio is a big money state. So I knew it was going to be a challenge, especially when I saw how they just pushed through 56
Yeah.
without even caring about what we were saying,
Not at
as
all. I mean, I
advocates.
remember speaking and they, like,
Yeah,
didn't even, like, listen. I think one guy took a phone call and, like, walked out the door. And I was
right.
just like, I wish if people could sit and, like, see that, then they wouldn't vote for these people.
Well, and what's really messed up about Ohio is one, we're gerrymandered, right? So we have a
Yes.
super gerrymandered state. And so a lot of these people don't even have opponents, right? And so they're running and there's no challenger. So like it's not that we're voting them in,
That's
there's nobody
true.
to
That's
challenge them.
true.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So one, we need more people to get
Yeah.
involved politically. I know people always ask me, like, oh Gerald, you should get, I'm not doing it. I'll tell you that. I ain't
Said
doing it.
not me, somebody else.
This is as political as I'm gonna get. Because on this side of the policy, I can do and say whatever the fuck I want to. But as soon as you get in that seat, they don't like you. You ain't got the money.
Very true.
So, but
Yeah.
again, and for me, I like to be real and authentic with the people. I'm a people
Yeah.
person too, and I
Yeah.
just feel like politics is so like everybody's trying to be PC in the
Mhm.
moment where we got a president who don't give a fuck.
He's
So I'm like, I
eating
don't
babies.
like,
They're eating babies.
and then try to blame people, the Haitians in Springfield, for eating cats and geese. Like, come on, bro. Like, you got a whole pedophile ring and a whole like sex trafficking ring at the top of this shit. and then we gonna start a war, so we don't have to talk about Epstein files no more.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
I know. And I mean, and as well as that and everything else going on, I mean, I know that was like why it was hard also to like get the referendum to pass, because everybody has so much shit going on. There is so much going on. It is so hard to, like dedicate yourself to one thing. I get that. And it's tough. But, we all got to get out there. Please, everybody go vote. Make sure you're registered. Ladies, double check your registration.
Yeah.
And
they do take people off the rolls.
They do.
I forget Frank LaRose, I think, sent like 8 million like 8 million people to the president, so like all of our information's out there. But and then voting, right? Like we vote, and a lot of people are like, well, we voted, what are we voting for if they're just going to change it? Okay, you vote because that's part of the process, okay? But the problem with what we voted in, it was a citizens initiated statute, which basically means that the politicians can come and change it if they want to. They didn't have to, right? Like they didn't have to change issue 2, but the governor didn't like it. The GOP didn't like it. And so they did everything in their power to change it. And so we still have a legal industry. You can still go to the dispensary, but obviously you got to have them open the trunk, put your weed in the trunk for you if you want to, skirt the law. But they put so many barriers now for working class individuals and people who don't have money. And so the issue with it is we need a constitutional amendment, which would put cannabis in the Constitution, which wouldn't allow them to change it. But again, it costs a lot of money. Also, the people who put up the money for issue 2, regulate marijuana like alcohol, are now on the side of SB 56. So, essentially they did a bait and switch, right? They did a Uno reverse draw forward on that ass. So, they did. But again, it comes back to money. It comes back to MSOs and putting the money in the pockets of some of these, lobbyists who,
support small businesses, you guys. That is so important, more now than ever, to support small businesses.
And now we do have dispensaries that are not under the umbrella of OCAN. We do have cultivators that are not under the umbrella of OCAN. And the reason a lot of us voted for this is because the tax revenue was supposed to go back to the communities, right? And so that's what we voted for. And now, half of that, 36% of that tax revenue is now going into the general revenue fund, which is run by the Republicans and GOP. They've already stated that they're sending some of that money to police, the police community, and stuff like that. And so we have to be very conscious and mindful. And that's why we have to get involved at the city level, at the county level, and at the state level. The state controls the state. Right. And so the cities, like Columbus, I think people in Columbus will be okay smoking outside. Right. I don't think CPD is going to harm people. But it's when you get to the small towns, you get to some of these suburban towns that have moratoriums. Right. You get to some of these suburbs, you get to Bexley, or you get to Upper Arlington,
where the cops have more time on their hands. And then, this goes back into, well, who are they going to be profiling when they, and it's legal. And it's just not fair, Gerald. It's not fair.
It's not fair. But that's why we got to step up. That's why we got to keep having these conversations. We got to keep building community, even though people are, actively trying to divide us among all these different groups, right? Male, female, black, white, rich, poor, like you poorer than me, so I'm doing better than you, right? Like, and it's like we got to cut it out.
And something that brings all of us together, black, white, rich, poor, young, old, is cannabis. It really does. And that is why they're afraid of it.
Exactly.
So, keep the conversation going, keep rolling up with your friends. Walk to the park. Smoke one. What's that?
Yeah, you stressed out. I mean, again, a lot of these people, I want to smoke out the state house one day. I want to hot box the state. That is my goal. Fuck the state. Like, we should hot box that shit. Get them all high.
Say less.
This is one of my ideas. Obviously, it's illegal now. but I wanted to do because we haven't even really celebrated legal cannabis, right? Because when we got it legal, we were in COVID. So
Yeah.
everybody was inside. So we didn't
Yeah.
have like no big celebration. We didn't have
Yeah.
like, one of my things is like we should have like a cookout on the State House lawn. All right. We could have some musical guests. We have a stage. We can have speakers.
We have Afroman.
Headline. Hey, you on the committee. We're doing it now. You just
sign me up.
Afroman. She ain't say this. I said it. Ancient Roots, and we are going to throw an event on the State House lawn. It's not cannabis land. This is just you just so happen to have some weed on you, right? This is a community event. Yeah, this is a rally. We're rallying. You know what I mean? Because I haven't seen no rallies for cannabis yet, and we need to.
I know.
And we could bring all the other social issues because, again, cannabis hits so many different social issues, right? Like it's hitting people on all sides of the aisle. It's a bipartisan issue.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so you could be, I know Republicans. I know people is like, I voted for Trump twice. I like my weed. Now, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's a smart decision and choice.
Yeah, but there are.
Freedom of choice.
Like I said, it's everybody. I mean, everybody loves cannabis. Everybody loves weed. I mean, who doesn't?
If you don't like the weed, man, there's something wrong with you. You know, you need to hit a little something. You need a tincture.
Yeah, you need to go smoke something first.
You need a CBD edible because I know, like, you tight. Some of y'all just be uptight. Like, just loosen up just a little bit.
Oh, Lord.
All right. So let the people know where they can follow you at, how they can support you.
Yeah, and obviously.
Tell people about Ancient Roots and some of the products that y'all have.
Yeah, so we have we put out flour as well as different concentrates. So we have cold cure, we have fresh press. We make we make gummies that are live rosin. They're also vegan and gluten free. And then we also make honey that is local honey. Actually, they buy it, I believe, from a family down in like Marietta, Ohio.
Okay.
And then we put our rosin in the honey as well. So rosin.
I need some of that for my tea.
Yeah. Yes, it's the best. We make an elderberry honey during the summer. Like right now we have like our creamed honey. We have a salted caramel honey. Love those for the teas. Yeah, and then we recently have been putting out pre-rolls. We
That's
make
new in Ohio.
Yes, it's new in Ohio. We make infused pre-rolls with our rosin as well.
Nice. What's your favorite flower? What you like to smoke?
My favorite right now would probably be our lemon kush.
Okay.
Or I love our cap junk.
Oh, cap junk. Okay.
Our cap junkie is really good.
I did. Yeah. I just had some of that actually. It was good.
Did you? Yeah.
Well, you know, I support who supports me.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. And I mean, obviously, like, you know, my views here today aren't affiliated with
these are your views.
Roots. Yes, these are my views. But no, Ancient Roots has been a great small company, small business that's about the people that I have been looking for. So
dope.
Yeah.
Give the people some parting wisdom. You've already gave us some great wisdom.
See. Yeah. Well, if you guys want to follow me on anything, my Instagram is Kenz, CANNA, KENZ 420. I try to post on there as much as I can. You can also follow us, Ancient Roots Ohio, on Instagram if you would like. You know, I would say to everybody to, you know, stick together and stay strong because times are really tough right now. And, you know, it's a hard balance between keeping yourself very informed on everything as well as, you know, keeping your mental sanity. So, you know, keep yourself informed, do what you can, call your senators, call your congress people. And, you know, when it starts to be too much and you need a break, go outside and smoke a fucking joint, please.
Right. And that's what community is for, right? Like the
Yeah,
more of us that come together, it's a support system. And there's a lot of different
definitely.
groups on Instagram that, are grassroots organizers and cannabis growers. So,
Yes,
find a
yes,
group on Facebook, Instagram,
please.
and just
Yes,
find a way to get involved. Because there's a lot of us that have been on the ground doing this work and this advocacy
definitely.
work.
You
So we
know,
can help point you in the right direction too.
Cannabis Consumer Coalition is great. I've worked with them
Hmm.
and done some things. They're a phenomenal group of people doing
Yeah,
so much hard work. I'm so proud of them all.
for sure.
And then, oh, who was the other one? Oh, and then like if you're in the industry and you're looking to, you know, meet up with more industry people, follow Industry Leaders Unite on
Yeah,
Instagram. They will post about when there's meetups in Cleveland, Cincinnati, Columbus. We do them in all the cities. So
yeah. And
yeah,
networking, I would say that's the biggest thing, right?
it
If you're trying to
is.
get in any industry, being able to network and connect with people that are already there.
Yes.
Like you said earlier, getting your foot in the door. Once you get your foot in the door, even if it's as a bud tender or, as a trimmer or something like that, like getting
Yeah.
your foot in the door allows you to see where the other opportunities are.
Yeah.
I think there's tons of opportunity in the media and educational landscape. I think nurses, I mean, we need more cannabis forward nurses and
Hmm.
people that
We
think
need,
more of the educational side of things as well. So
yeah,
there's not a shortage of opportunities in the cannabis industry, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of things that AI can take from this industry necessarily. So there's a lot of definitely opportunities in this space.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah. And it's all, like I said, it's all about the networking, and, getting your foot in the door. And, if you're a bud tender and you do want to like, move up to something different, go to the networking events, talk to
Right.
people. I mean, especially in Ohio, it is not a huge industry. It's kind of small. We all know each other. So
Super small.
yeah. So, I mean, you definitely, have a shot of meeting some great and important people if you put
No
yourself
doubt.
out there, even if you're
Put yourself out
scared,
there.
you know, just do it.
Smoke a
Because,
joint
that's
and then
another
go.
thing I hear a lot of people are like, well, I'm not very educated in that. I don't know. Listen, we are all learning something new every single day. All
It's
right.
not an excuse.
No, I'm learning something. I still learn something new about cannabis.
Right.
Sometimes I have people tell me stuff and I'm like, "Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I didn't know that."
Right.
And that's okay. Like nobody has to be, and you don't have to be an
I know it all.
PhD, a know-it-all, an expert. I mean, like I said, we are all always learning.
I
And
love it.
so, I learn from our patients every single day.
Dope. Well,
Yep.
we appreciate you coming on,
Thanks so
sharing your
much for
story.
having me.
For sure, of
I
course.
will see you in a few weeks at the
Yes,
forum.
ma'am. We will see you in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And we appreciate all the things that you're doing in the community and sharing your story and being vulnerable. It's awesome. You're
Well, thank
awesome
you.
and keep it up.
All right. I appreciate it. You have a great day.
You too. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Peace. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to the homie Kenzie Cherry. Make sure you guys follow her on all the socials. She's been somebody that's been supporting Ohio Cannabis Report for a minute. We've connected at the State House, and so we appreciate her. Obviously, it takes a lot of courage, and this is one of the reasons we created this platform. Is for the people, right? Like I want to hear people's stories. I want to, what makes people tick, right? Like we all have our own little things going on, but I think it's important to talk to people who are having different experiences in the cannabis industry and just in general. So definitely want to thank her. Want to thank Ancient Roots for sponsoring, being a community sponsor for our Cannabis Social Equity Forum, April 4th. This is our first in-person forum. So like I said, this is a grassroots community-led effort. Um, the funds and some of the donations, we are accepting donations. You don't have to donate, but we do appreciate donations. They support our nonprofit Green Environmental Outreach, which is a veteran-led nonprofit focused on urban agriculture, focused on social equity, focused on social justice, environmental justice, workforce development for communities that have been underserved, ending food apartheid and food deserts in our communities. And so we do a lot of different work, but they support the cannabis movement. And so a portion of the proceeds will go to that. We also want to give some of the proceeds to our panelists, right? We have a great group of panelists. They haven't asked me for any finances or anything like that. And so we appreciate them offering their time. And so obviously for their time, we want to be able to give them a little token of our appreciation. So even if that's a gas card or a gift card, that's what I want to do for them. So donations and support will go to our panelists, also to our event space, which is in an opportunity zone. It's a community space. It's a co-working space. And they've offered the space to us for free as well. So we want to be able to give them a bit of a donation as well for supporting our initiative and allowing us to use their space. So again, I want to thank everybody who has tuned in. Again, that was Kenzie Cherry from Ancient Roots. She has been a bud tender. She's now a brand rep for them. Again, they're a small Ohio company, which we appreciate because, again, our industry has been taken over, just like most of the industries, by MSOs who've swooped in and bought up, dispensaries, cultivators, and processors. And so they're pretty much the mouthpiece of our industry right now. They're the ones controlling the prices. Again, we've done I did a video and a live about our Attorney General, Dave Yost, filing a lawsuit against 9 MSOs here in Ohio. We'll go refresh that actually, because I think it's something that's worth talking about and discussing until, the end of time. Because again, a lot of the reason our industry has been stifled, the reason, we still only have 200 dispensaries. They've capped dispensaries at 400. The only people who've been able to get into the industry are people who can afford it. So again, it's a high cost of entry. They haven't made any more licenses available for dispensaries or cultivators and processors. So we have a limited license industry. So that's a huge issue. With SB 56 going into law, that will gut the hemp industry. So all the hemp beverages, all of the stores that have been selling hemp products, you have the hemp dispensaries, all of those will be shutting down. And if they don't get shut down, eventually they will be getting raided and shut down. And so again, this hurts craft growers. This hurts the hemp industry. I think over 28,000 people will lose jobs under the hemp ban in SB 56. And so, it's a lot of issues, right? And so this is why we the people is important. And we the people have to stand up to these politicians who, we say, oh, we live in America, we free. Bitch, you ain't free. A lot of y'all ain't even free to talk. You're afraid to talk because you might get fired from your job, right? You see the Afroman shit. That was just freedom of speech. They tried to sue him for creating videos and putting them out on YouTube and Instagram from his surveillance. They raided his house. They kicked down his door. They broke his gate, his privacy gate. They unplugged his surveillance. And then when he made videos about it, he made music about it. Then they tried to sue him because, oh, now we're embarrassed. Now, we live in this small town, Adams County. Our whole family lives here. All the kids see this shit, and now we're embarrassed. The one dude tried to say it was the cause of his divorce. And then Afroman brought his ex-wife up there for the defense. And she said, nah, this ain't the cause of our divorce. You can't make this shit up. Then one of the dudes got mad because his brother was convicted of being like a pedophile or some shit. So now you mad. And then they was like, yo, this shit was on the front page of the news. Fuck you mean? We just exposed you. And what they got to understand, the lawsuit just made it worse for y'all. Y'all should have just went on ahead, licked y'all wounds, took the ass whooping, took the little public embarrassment. But now everybody in Ohio and across the country and across the world is seeing that shit. That shit was on the news. And they had Lick 'em Low Lisa on there balling, boy. Lick 'em Low Lisa. Hey, yo, let me see. What was that? The Attorney General. AG Davio MSO laws. He said, lick 'em low, Lisa. Matter of fact, let's pull that joint up. That's crazy, bro. Lick 'em low, Lisa is crazy work. And what's up? I see we got some people in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Did I miss anything? No, let's go. We about to bring up Lick 'em low, Lisa real quick. So this was the second day of the trial. Lick 'em low, Lisa. Man, we just gotta put this shit on real quick.
Can you tell me what fact about you that receding hairline or dipshit refers to, please?
I'm sorry?
What private fact of yours does that refer to?
I mean, there's a picture of me, and see here, talking about see, I wouldn't trust him with methamphetamine crack ass alone in my house.
So
I find that pretty insulting.
So that statement is what you're suing on.
Well, no, I told you this is one of many.
Well, and that's why we're trying to
you
find.
keep trying to make it singular. I'm telling you, it's not singular. It's plural.
Okay, and so one of them is dipshit, one is receding hairline,
Yep.
and the other is meth heads.
Yes.
Is there any more?
Well, when he's sitting there making accusations against the organization that I, at that time, was working for, destroying community trust, all based off of a lie, that's what ultimately stopped.
And that's community trust in the Adams County Sheriff's Department, correct?
Yes.
Let's go back to what was Plaintiff's Exhibit 5.
Okay.
I unfortunately don't do technology very well. But this was Plaintiff's Exhibit 5. You said this was referring to you. Where's your picture in this?
I said, you asked me earlier.
Where's your picture?
No, and you asked me earlier.
Your Honor, I'd ask the witness to answer the question.
Okay.
You can clarify that there's
Okay. Okay.
Is your picture in this post?
No.
Is that a picture of your father?
Yes.
So this actually pertains more to your father than you.
Correct.
I'd like to look at what was Plaintiff's Exhibit A.
Comedy, yeah.
Can you turn a little bit up?
Well, here, I'll do that.
Just turn it slightly. There. Right. Yep. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
So there's no place exhibit A.
Oh, sorry, Plaintiff's Exhibit 1.
Thank you.
So this would have been Plaintiff's Exhibit 1. It says, in court early. Were you at that hearing?
No.
So this is a post about a legitimate hearing that we have in this case.
Right.
But you weren't present.
No. No, sir.
Do you know if your attorney was present?
I don't know.
This kind of goes without saying, you're not a judge.
Nope.
What's
You're
the
not.
exhibit number?
Oh, right now.
Thank you.
This would be Plaintiff's Exhibit number 6, the one about Roy Gabbard. You're not a judge?
Nope.
You're not Roy Gabbard?
Nope.
And other than this referring to the Adams County Sheriff's Department, somewhere towards the end, that is the only thing in it that you believe is a claim?
I'm sorry. It kicked on right when you were talking. I couldn't hear you. The AC
Let's
kicked on.
strike the question.
Yo, where the I think it was day one. Yo, they played her song like for 20 minutes straight. Yo, that shit was crazy. Day 3 or day 2 or day 1. I'm playing Punjabi up in the
You wouldn't ride a horse to work.
saw it.
Yeah, I don't know why that joint was so funny though. I gotta find. The Lick 'em Low Lisa was the best part for me. And they had the whole thing streaming. I play Bon Jovi up in the lobby. Oh, maybe it was the second day. We gotta find that second joint, bro. That shit will have me weak. I play Bon Jovi up in the lobby. Maybe it was day 2.
And you can hear him count. With $200 on the ground, you can hear him count 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then he shuffles the money. And then when he lays.
Our next witness, Judge, is Lieutenant Lisa Phillips.
Can you get through your direct by 4:15 to 4:30?
That may be difficult. You have a husband?
Yes, sir.
You have a child?
Yes, sir.
How old is your child?
She's 21.
Did she go to school here in Adams County?
Yes, sir.
Do you have other family in the area?
I have grandma and cousins and family like that.
And did you ever serve as a school resource officer?
Yes, sir, I did.
Tell us about that.
I took the job full-time at the sheriff's office as a school resource officer. Is what I started off as, deputy sheriff, school resource officer. Then was there for the kids, keep the kids safe, out of any kind of danger. I also was there for the kids, as far as, bonding with the kids, and keeping them, as far as like way of life, just somebody else to be there, Sometimes they need somebody to talk to. I did that quite a bit.
And did you sometimes greet the kids when they got dropped off at school?
In the morning, I directed traffic at the school.
And did you have occasion to know any of Mr. Foreman's children?
I don't know him by name, but I have let him out of the vehicle before, or not let him out, but greeted him. And she pulled up with the kids, and I went over and spoke with her, and I told her it probably wouldn't be good for the kids to see us, so they wouldn't be there to be upset or anything.
Excuse me. Do you know whether the children live there or do they live somewhere else?
They live up the road. Up down the road from there.
With their mother?
Yes.
So then did they leave, or did the children never went into the house or anything?
No, sir.
In 22, was that short?
It was hilarious.
Execution of the warrant?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh my God. Let's get Rodney. Good. What's good, Rodney?
Not much. I was just saying all this stuff about Afroman yesterday, man. This shit's wild.
Hey, that shit was crazy.
Bro, is it though at the same time that they decided to go after our cannabis rights, they go after one of Ohio's largest cannabis activists and advocates?
Well, this has been an ongoing thing. I didn't even know this was happening until the lawsuit. I guess the stuff dropped in like 2022.
Yeah, so I remember seeing the original video, which is actually around the time that right after legalization happened, and
they thought they were going to get a big drug bust.
Yeah, they tried to, and I'm saying that, bro, they tried saying that he had women in his basement locked up, and then he had all kinds of narcotics. Did they find any? No.
They found nothing.
They found money, and then they stole it.
And it wasn't even that much.
A couple stacks, 5.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try to get a Afroman on the show. That's my next goal. Cause I mean, we need more of our celebrities. There's a lot of celebrities in Ohio that don't speak up for cannabis legalization, right? So we haven't seen these motherfuckers at the state house. We don't see them using their platforms. So that's one of my issues with celebrities and entertainers is that when stuff like this happens, it's a big spectacle, but it's like, bro, like you're not really, like you're not speaking up for the masses, right? So I got an issue with that.
One that actually has been on tour with Afroman and opened up for him and stuff like that. I can put you in contact. I just don't know if Afroman will do it, just because you got to remember for him.
I would reach out to his team.
What was that?
I reached out to his manager.
Okay. You got to remember though, to a lot of these guys, like they only have so much time and they've already got like the celebrity status. It's just a matter of like, how can I make money off of this? And especially him, like, bro, you remember Because I Got High happened right around the same time Napster and LimeWire went wild. Like he didn't get anything off of that. Like it took a long time before he made any real money. And like you said, he 5 stacks in his jacket of what he got paid to do a show with like Snoop Dogg and I don't remember who else he said on there, Wiz Khalifa and stuff. So I mean, like if he show with them and he's still only getting 5 stacks.
Well, because a lot of people don't understand, like a lot of these entertainers, they're not that rich. You know what I mean? Like you get paid per gig, right? And I mean, the one song everybody knows Because I Got High, but like he's not selling out stadiums. You know what I mean? Like he's not, well, we know him because of that song. Would we know him if that song didn't come out? Probably not. Do I listen to Afroman's music? No. All right. But I will sing Because I Got High every time that shit comes on. You know what I mean? But
and 2 zigzags. Maybe that's
right. But again, what's beautiful about what this shows, and when I think a lot of Ohio people need to understand, is that there's power in the internet. There's power in social media. There's power in using your First Amendment to do what, if people are treating you horribly, like some of the stuff that we've been doing with the state house and posting pictures of, these politicians who have gone against the will of the voters is very similar. I'm not a rapper and I didn't put it in a music song. But that's what we should be doing because now these people are accountable.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been fucking a lot with the AI music stuff.
Yeah.
It's okay, but like I've definitely been thinking real heavily about like making songs for each one of these guys, like Huffman and his God, I can't stand him, Mr. I Can't Stand Kids, but then says it's all Suno Suno AI. So I seen Google Gemini just started making songs too, but I don't know how good it is. And even with Suno, there's different levels of it. So like the V5 that they have, the paid for version, is way better than the other ones. The audio of like the vocals actually sounds semi-real. Like it's kind of impressive. You're like, is this really AI? But I will say to everyone who hates on it, be happy. It's a tool. The final product is still not as good as someone performing it for real. Like Kyle Smith Jams took any of the songs that I put out on Suno AI and himself, I promise you it'll be 1 billion times better.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's still there's so much value in real music. I mean, the tone, everybody's tone, the raspiness in somebody's tone, the pain that you can feel in somebody singing a song, the joy.
Johnny Cash.
All right. So like you can never, it's just like humans, like you can never replace us and our totality of what we bring. But again, like you said, it's a tool, right? It's a resource. It's something extra that you can leverage. I don't believe you're supposed to make it your whole thing. Just like weed. Like weed is a tool. It's a resource. It's something that helps you. It's a part of the lifestyle. It's not the whole thing.
Facts.
So let the people know we had Rodney on before, but obviously we got some news that just came out yesterday, and I know Rodney has been on the ground heavy and in the digital space with the SB 56 referendum. So let us know your thoughts, man, on what's going on with SB 56, the referendum, not getting the signatures and all that jazz.
So I'll be real, like everyone put in a lot of really good work. Like the city as a whole showed out. The reality of things, though, is logistically, this is a nightmare. Like, bro, a 48-page packet, front and back. We have to get every single one of them. Everyone has to have a full packet. Everyone has to have a packet for each county that they're collecting in. And even then, like, let's say I'm collecting in Lake County. I may have someone that's from Cuyahoga County. If I don't have the packet, I can't have you sign my Lake County one. Like, it's basically a nightmare. And then even within the form, let me show you something, my dude. Where is it? I know I've got one of them laying around here somewhere. Here it is. So here's the actual form itself, right? So why when you fill this out, it's, I don't know if you can see this. I'm showing my front camera. First name, last name, middle initial, street address, city, village, county, zip. Now, when you're filling out your address on the internet, or not on the internet, on like a envelope, you usually put state right here, right?
Right.
Tell me that wasn't intentional. It's the same way that back in the day, when voting rights for black people became a thing, into it, there was the only way you could vote if you were a black man is if you were able to take a test, a literacy test.
Right. Yeah.
I passed that shit when I was in 7th or 8th grade when they handed it to me, and I'm not dumb.
Yeah. But they didn't teach slaves how to read.
And I couldn't pass it with an 8th grade education when I graduated in 2014. So early 2000s. What's that? But that test was made so that way you couldn't do it. Just like how the form was made so that way they could set it up so that way when you put Ohio in there instead of Lake County, it's invalid.
And that's something that we ain't talking about, because that's a big deal, especially when it comes to what we've been witnessing with some of the voter suppression and, you know, a lot of the things going on. That's something very minute that you wouldn't even the average common mind probably wouldn't even think about that.
No. And I wouldn't, not for the fact that I was out here on the ground literally doing it, seeing the number of people that fill out Ohio there. And then, like, let's say you're collecting the signature. I'm at an event and I've got people coming up to the table left and right, sign. And then, hold on, I'll call them right back. But yeah, so like, let's say I'm doing all that and I don't post it at that moment, but they filled out Ohio instead of Lake County. And then I go back 2 hours later. I don't know who this is. They designed it that way. And then on top of it, let's forget that portion of it. The logistics, within 90 days, I have to get this written up by a lawyer, which is going to take a couple of days. And then so let's say that takes 2 days. That's 2 of your 90 days already gone, just to have the lawyer write it up. Then let's say I take that and I do go out and I collect 1,000 signatures right off rip. That's going to take another 2 days. That's 4 days. All right. And then I got to submit it to the state AG. That's going to take 10 business days. Now, 10 business days are Monday through Friday. So that means Saturday and Sunday are counted in that 90-day window.
And if you have a holiday,
that all counts towards your 90 days, but it does not count your 90 or your 10 business days, which also did happen in this. So now you're at, just with the first attempt, you're at 4 days plus 14 days, let's say 14 days. So we're already at 18 days in.
Right. Almost 20 days.
Out of your 90. And then they wait till day number 10 to deny it. So then you got to wait 2 more days for the lawyer to go through it again. Now you're at day number 20. Now I got to wait 2 more days to collect the signatures. And let's say it's the middle of a week and I may not even be able to collect them all, but still we're going to go 22 days as that. Then I resubmit on day number 23. Now I've got another 14 days. So we're at day 23 plus 14. What's that put us at? That puts us at 4, 5, 6, 37. Yep. All right. So now we're at day number 37 to collect 2,555 signatures. Now that I've got that approved, now I can take those packets. I have to train people, which, yes, you could train them during the entire rest of the period. And that is something that I will admit, like, as organizationally, we did kind of drop the ball on.
Right.
But we still got people trained within 2 days.
For sure.
All right, so we're at day what, 40, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
So almost halfway through.
and you've got 90 days to collect. And then within that collection window, you still don't have that. You have about 40 days, about a 30 to 40 days, give or take, to collect all the signatures, which means you have to logistically get all those paper packets like Billy Blaze was going all across the state, handing these things out to people like they were candy.
Wow.
We had to try and figure out how to communicate to people where to go to sign, which eventually got on board. That still took like 10 days. So now we're at day 50, 55. We've only got so many more days to collect 255,000 signatures across the state. Like, dude, this is a logistical nightmare. And then at the very end, now that we may have the signatures, everyone has those packets in their hands. They've got stacks of them, right? All right. So now we got to get them all back in, which is again
Collect them.
a nightmare. There's
Yeah.
no reason that at this point in time in 2026 that I can't just give someone my social security number and my voter information on a government website and say, yes, I am for this voter referendum.
Right. Yeah. In 2026, my goodness. Like, send the link out. Yeah.
I mean, again, with, like you said, with the power of the internet and social media influencers and all this, like, we have the reach to be able to get 255,000 people easy.
Yeah, easy.
We have someone like Afroman and someone like Hype Magazine. I was talking to Hype Magazine about this 10 days ago.
Right.
So, like, again, the logistics of trying to get someone like Hype Magazine in on this, trying to get into their ear, like, so many things of this is just, it doesn't make no sense. That don't make no sense.
It don't make no sense, man. So where do we go from here, man? What are your thoughts? Like, what are you feeling?
Honestly,
I mean, the law, it becomes law tomorrow.
So at this moment, the key thing is to be aware of what's going on, understanding where we stand, understanding the law as it's written. Big game, you just kind of got to play what it is. I think there's going to be a couple of lawsuits coming. I don't know the details of any of them. I don't know realistically what any of them can do to stop it. I've heard more on the hemp side than the consumer rights side, which is really sad that they kind of lump this all together, the hemp bill with the consumer rights side of things. So something people don't realize is under issue 2, all the events were legal, like where the gifting and stuff was going on. And businesses are allowed to allow consumption on their premises under issue 2, what we voted. Under SB 56, both of those two things go away, which means the entire event scene is illegal. And I've already heard that I don't know about the rest of it, but I do know multiple police departments throughout the state and including the state boys themselves. It's just rumor from what I've heard from different cops as well as different hemp operators who also are friends with a bunch of cops. And all of them are telling me that people are putting together task force.
Of course.
Task forces? Yes.
Task forces, yeah. Task force.
Multiple
task force.
So it's that moment of like, if they're putting that together for hemp stores and stuff like that, and they eventually run out of hemp stores, they're eventually just going to come after us one way or the other, right? Like, if we're doing this, which is what they're doing.
Well, yeah. And I mean, and they're going to be using cannabis money to do it.
Andy Rayburn, from what I was told from multiple insiders at OCAN, told them, Andy Rayburn told insiders at OCAN during meetings, who then came to me and told me that they are not only going to help like make it illegal, but they're also going to help fund the prosecution of it. So
boycott Buckeye Relief and Amplify.
For sure, at very minimum. And I will say, I can't say who told me it, but I can say that even people within OCAN don't like Amplify and Andy Rayburn. A lot, like, I've had people tell me that David Bowling doesn't agree with all the messaging of OCAN. What's that tell you, my dude?
Right. I mean, we need to sue OCAN.
So
really need to be getting sued.
I got to figure out how to do it, but I also had someone recently tell me they didn't say what was said. but they said that I can not FOIA, but like the state level of FOIA to be able to open records request, I think is what the word is, between
public records requests. Yeah, because I mean, if it's in the email, if it's in text messages, yeah. And I mean, the lawsuit would probably have to go through Franklin County. So Franklin County is where I think OCAN is, because I think they're Columbus, Ohio. So like you'd have to go to the Franklin County court and basically, but I mean, again, that's what happened with the MSO lawsuit and the AG, right? Like they open public records requests, emails, text messages showing that, hey, we're going to scratch your back if you scratch our back. Right. And so we know what's going on with OCAN and, how you flip from supporting issue 2 to now being pro SB 56, to then you're jacking up the prices, So
I mean, even got the responsible or not responsible Ohio, the group that was actually responsible for issue 2 to come out and make a statement about SB 56. Like that's
right.
great.
Regulate marijuana like alcohol. Yeah.
And anyone who looks at like what this bill does will tell you that that's not what issue 2 was. So
yeah.
But I do got to get out of here, dude. I appreciate you for having me on.
Sure, man. Thanks for tuning in and tapping in with us.
Real quick, using the internet and using our voice power. 10 minutes. My episode's going to go live. Italian Herb Dispensary, the one that was facing the 9 felony charges, where the girl that was sexually harassed. That whole story. Okay. The owner of Italian Herbs just had a plea bargain and pled out on it. But it was not. If it was me or you, we would have very least got parole, probation. Because it was her, nah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to own businesses and operate businesses in Ohio to get away with shit.
Right.
Appreciate you, man. I'll definitely stream it for you.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, later. Rodney Hash. Make sure y'all go tap into his YouTube. I should have had him say the YouTube before he got off, but I believe it's just Rodney Hash. Let me see. So I'll make sure I stream his YouTube. Hey Rodney, if you're still in the chat, put your YouTube channel, put the link to your YouTube channel in the chat so I could share it. So we'll definitely stream that. I don't really got much to do today. I just got to get my house ready. My little sister's coming to see me, and her niece and nephew. So I got to clean up the house a little bit for baby sis. But other than that, man, we're going to be talking about SB 56 all day. Because again, it goes into law tomorrow, and it's going to impact a lot of different people. Like Rodney just said, they're going to be they're creating task force, right? So they're going to be using cannabis money, right? Because 36% of that tax revenue, right? Some of it went to cities, but then another 36% is going back to the general revenue fund, which the governor and the Senate and the House can use for whatever they want to use it for. So again, you got to think they're going to be putting more money into police, into these task force, into, scalping to see where the dispensaries are that aren't licensed dispensaries, who's selling THC drinks still, who's still doing Delta 9, Delta 8. So we got to be very mindful, right? Like, again, this is an attack on working class and poor people, right? Black and brown people the most, right? So that's what SB 56 and who's going to be targeted. There's going to be a lot of profiling, right? I don't think the big cities are going to have to worry as much about like public consumption and maybe events right away. But if you're traveling with cannabis, if you're coming back and forth from Michigan, if you live in a small town, or if you got to go through a small town to get to the bigger city, I think those are going to be the people that get caught up the most in this. If you work a job and they drug test you, and you fail the drug test and they fire you, you're no longer eligible for your unemployment benefits. So there's going to be a lot of things that people get tripped up on, right? If you get a felony or you get a misdemeanor, obviously that can impact your housing, that can impact your job, impact educational opportunities. So it's very important that us as a community, engage and educate each other on what's going on and how to protect each other, right? Because again, this is going to drastically change what's become normal in Ohio's cannabis industry, right? Where you can publicly consume, you can, combust in your car, people like, there's a lot of things that are going to change. So again, make sure you guys stay up to date on what's going on. We try to keep you guys updated here on Ohio Cannabis Report. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I go on. Sometimes I just go on randomly, right? Like today, I had the interview with Kenzie already. Well, we postponed it. And so, I do stuff like that. But I like to keep you guys informed as much as possible about what's going on in Ohio cannabis industry, because there's a lot going on. So we're going to get back to this Lick 'em Low Lisa real quick, though, because this shit was funny. They got her next to the Mona Lisa.
Just a little bit.
Good morning, ladies. Here she is, the condescending cunt. Adams County Sheriff Lieutenant Mona Lick 'em Low Lisa, to serve and disconnect your home
Near
video
the bottom of
security
that first
surveillance system,
paragraph, just
so
go
you
down a
won't
little
have
bit
proof
more.
of the Adams
Right
County.
there. Has anybody in Adams County verified her vagina? If you haven't, you should, or she might. Whoop out something bigger than yours. If this lady is your friend, I wouldn't leave her alone in my house. Or I'll put it this way, if you leave and your video system is messed up, et cetera, et cetera.
Look at
And
her
then
face.
down
I knew
below
she
a
was-
little further, my name for this particular officer is Lieutenant Mona Lick 'em Low Lisa.
Gotta be responsible for your actions.
When did you first see this posting, if you recall?
Shortly after the warrant.
That was over three and a half years ago. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes, sir.
Let's go to the next one.
3.5 years ago, bro. She is in hell right now. Like, you've been living through this shit for 4 years. He was fucking them up, boy.
And
151
you
weeks.
see here, it says disconnect after. What number? That was 21?
Yes. 22.
22.
No, they played.
That's YouTube?
Yes.
I'm just trying to figure out which two platforms. Were they both the same platform?
Do you want me to go to the next, or both of those are both YouTube?
Oh, okay.
And then there's more exhibits of this.
Yes, I don't know why we had two of the same one, but I'm sorry. Let's go. You can
Can
turn.
we stop here? For the record, are we saying that exhibit 22 and exhibit 23 are duplicates?
They are not duplicates. They are postings of the same video. One was posted on October 4th, 2022. One was posted on October 23rd, 2022. They were posted on his YouTube account on two separate occasions. One is like that.
Can we clear that up for the record, Your Honor?
I think we just did.
We clear that up.
I don't know
Thank you
which one was posted when.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
You're thinking like I'm thinking. Go ahead.
Thank you, Judge.
20.
Let's play the next exhibit.
24.
Yes. Exhibit 24. When was that post? Can you see a date? Is that a different date? Or should have the witness testify, probably ideally.
It's
if we can,
September
but-
25th of 2022.
Okay. And is that that's a different date from the other two?
Yes.
Thank you. Next exhibit. Number
25.
25. And is that a different date? Whoops.
Oops.
Was that a different date?
He kept playing the song.
Well, it's not up there anymore, is it? Or
It is up there.
okay. Can you tell, Lisa? Sorry.
Yes, sir. It's October 4th of 2022.
Thank you. Different date. Okay. Next exhibit. Is that it? All right. We have another video.
We have another
We're
video.
ready to do that?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm just assuming I'm going to object.
Yes, you're going to object to
This
this.
is the one I'm going to renew my objection on.
So don't play it, just tell me what it is first. What is this?
This is a video that was posted, I believe, last Friday. Yes.
I will enter an objection on this. The law has changed. As I said, in April of 2025, a new law was passed, an anti-SLAPP law, which would apply to this and therefore would have a completely different standard of evidence, and we would renew our objection to it being admitted. Or even
Anti-slap law.
Klingler?
That law does not apply to this video or to this case, Judge.
Your Honor, that pertains to matters of public, for the press. It also covers artistic expression and stuff. Just to have no analysis is not an answer to the question. But I will renew it.
So a really good objection, and I'll be consistent and overrule it. We'll play it, and you might be right, but we'll overrule it. I think I'm right. Go ahead. Number 26.
Really good objection. Court is a game. People got to understand. Court is a
And
game.
this is not 26.
It's almost like
It's
sport,
34.
right? That's why they call it court.
Sorry, we're out of order.
And a judge, a jury.
Right,
You got to learn how to play the game. That's why it's all language,
34.
legalese, verbiage.
Then for the record, Your Honor, my objection would pertain to Exhibit 34, just for the record.
Did you see this already, Mr. Osborne?
Your Honor, when they listed it, I did find it and take a look at it. I was never supplied a copy, but I did find a copy.
Yeah, they played this whole video. Man. I want a moan. You got an actor that is crazy. I'm gonna start fucking with people.
Came to town. She got understand all around. From Adams County to the 275.
I love it.
Licking every pussy alive. Come on, Lisa. Lick 'em up, Lisa. Pussy alive. Lisa. What's up, she gon' Lisa. Lick 'em up, Lisa. Pussy alive.
Yeah, this is wild.
You really don't know her. I noticed her voice is a few octaves lower. She's not too ugly.
Her voice is a few octaves low.
She's not too fine, but she's might put out something that's bigger than mine. Lick 'em up, Lisa. Lick 'em up, Lisa. Pussy life, Lisa.
Hey, why is she watching it though? Like, why are you watching it?
She raided my house. She just collected my camera. Then she went down I just don't know what I'm gonna do.
Woo!
Y'all keep on laughing. She gonna eat your wife's pussy.
Y'all keep laughing. She gonna eat your wife's pussy too. Yeah, pussy like pizza. Crazy. I know they want to crash out on that. You can't kill it now. You kill it, they know who did it. Now y'all gotta move. They gotta move to a whole nother state. Lick them, leave them slow. Leave them fast. Why she crying? I'm trying to figure out what she crying for. Like, if you ain't did nothing wrong, you ain't got nothing reason to cry. We know it's not you in the video, right? She's crying like a little kid, though. Like, bruh. They played the whole song. Oh, it's crazy, bro. Like, it's like a 4-minute song, bro. It's like, why is the song so long? They played this thing for so long. How long this shit been going? Hold on. This shit started at 16 minutes, bro. It's been going for 5 minutes. It's like a 10-minute song. And then they got he got to re-release the song with her sniffling in it now. Lick 'em low, Lisa.
driveway. Same time, the pussies. I need to release a couple of pussy lady dealers, and I'd be a Walmart. You call the guy on your voice. They're asking you. I was like that. Like, her guy asked me to China. I must alien and have me on their baby. Obviously, I make that change that job. They didn't make money off of it. It's been sad. I have to put that in front of my penis. I was on my way to work one day. I can panhandle stop sign. Commissioners had contracted a crew that was working with panhandle. I get a holler. Lieutenant, lose the field. You have to be working. Get a holler from Lieutenant Lisa Phillips. Pussy lady. Not a good talk, not a thief. Not sure it's not thief. I feel weak because I can't keep it. Yeah. Number one, I have to emotions because your client lies I've had a deep voice my entire life. I did not wake up one morning, thank God I have a deep voice. I did not have sex change. I did not have a penis. I shouldn't have to prove I don't have a penis. Or I have a penis bigger than the rest of the guys start working. And kill people over and live with pussy on me till fun. Obviously, it's right here.
Lisa, I'm sorry. I didn't know that hurt you like that. You kind of intimidated. I know you. I'm sorry. You got raided my house. You knocked down my door. I was upset. I would never shoot you, or I would never try to punch you. I thought I cracked some musical jokes that I didn't know they hurt you that bad. I'm sorry. I think you're a nice little lady. I didn't know you was a lot. I'm sorry. I was just having fun with the bad situation. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. Oh, man, Jesus. Hang on, let's take a little break, everybody.
Filmed the shit in the lawyer's office. That shit was definitely filmed in a lawyer's office. Bruh, it's still going, bro. It's been 10 minutes.
Wait a minute. What the fuck?
What?
Oh, this. I did a show one night, and this girl said, "Hey, Afroman, I want to give you some sisters."
When you're a public figure, you ain't supposed to be doing stuff like that. They let that shit play for 20 minutes, bro. That is hilarious. Lick 'em low, Lisa. Man. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can bring up that Rodney hash. Interview.
So, with all of that being said, this is the hearing, and I want you guys to see it firsthand for yourself. This is the entirety of it. as you guys can already see, there's closed captions. So those closed captions will continue into the court hearing. The sound may be a little bit more difficult. I apologize for that. Just is what it is. I didn't actually have the opportunity to give the judge my mic or anything like that. So I was just going off my cell phone's mic, but I did capture everything. I think it came through. So I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I did, because this is absolute insanity. And I'll spoil it for you guys. She only got a $2,500 fine in court fees. One of the wealthiest families in the county. She didn't even get probation. She got 9 felony charges, dropped down to 1 felony charge of obstruction of justice. That obstruction of justice charge, would you believe that that wouldn't disbar her or make her ineligible to work in the cannabis industry? Funny, huh? All right, guys. I've said enough. I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about in the context. This is insanity that a sexual assault victim is not getting her justice. And I really hope and pray that her pleading guilty to this case means that there will be another case following up contingent to it, because she deserves justice, this victim. This is not okay. All right, guys. See you in the next one. See you after this.
Thank you. You may be seated. We're on the record in the matter of the state of Ohio versus Jessica Orello, case number 25 CR 293. The defendant is present before the court, represented by her attorney, Jason Fairchild. The state of Ohio is represented by Assistant County Prosecutor Gene Barrett. Ms. Orello, I have been provided with a written 3-page plea agreement, an Alford plea, which indicates to the court that it is your understanding and intention that pursuant to the case of North Carolina versus Alford, you will be entering a plea of guilty to this charge, understanding that the maximum penalty, and when I say this charge, count 9 amended to obstructing official business, a 5th-degree felony, punishable by a maximum of 12 months in state prison and a maximum $2,500 fine, with the understanding that the state of Ohio's position with respect to sentencing is that you will receive a fine in this matter and the imposition of court costs. Is that your understanding and intention?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please stand and raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may be seated. Would you state your full name, please?
Jessica Orello, Your Honor.
And what is your age and date of birth?
My age is 34. My date of birth is October 17th, 1991.
And what is the highest grade level of education you've completed?
I have my bachelor's in science, Your Honor.
And do you have any difficulty reading, writing, and understanding the English language?
No, Your Honor.
Did you read, understand, and sign the plea agreement form that I made reference to?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you do so in the presence of your attorney? And was he able to answer any and all questions you might have had in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a veteran of the military?
No, Your Honor.
Are you a United States citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did anyone threaten you or promise you anything to get you to plead guilty in this matter?
No, Your Honor.
Have you used any alcohol or drugs, recreational or prescription, within the last 24 hours?
No, Your Honor.
Should you be taking some medication prescribed to you by a doctor that you are not taking for whatever reason?
No, Your Honor.
Have you ever been found to be a mentally ill or incompetent person?
No, Your Honor.
Are you suffering currently from any emotional, psychological, or concentration issues?
No, Your Honor.
Are you under the care of any doctor for any reason whatsoever?
No, Your Honor.
And you understand you're entering into this plea of your own free will.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand that this is what is called an Alford plea, in which you will be pleading guilty pursuant to the conditions set forth in North Carolina versus Alford, which I'm assuming your attorney has advised you.
Yes, Your Honor.
the original indictment in this matter consists of 9 counts. It is proposed that you enter a plea of guilty to count 9, amended to obstructing official business in this matter. Mr. Barrett, what is the factual basis for the charge of obstructing official business?
Yes, Your Honor, this matter stems from a May 31, 24 Board of Pharmacy complaint and inspection by Sabrina Radke concerning the dispensary misusing the OARRS system, and the investigation indicated that the agents had come up from Columbus to Asheville County to do this investigation. They had come up here, they investigated, found some deficiencies with the dispensary's business practices, and also discovered that Ms. Lorello had at one time used the ORS system while she was not at work, but logged in on her personal computer. And this came out during the pendency of the investigation instead of right up front, and they were not able to produce certain records for the investigation, which was determined much later that the record keeping system at the time was only able to pull back that distance because a year had passed almost before this investigation was completed and brought to the prosecutor's office. And the agents could have faced physical harm in their driving up here to Asheville County and the ongoing aspects of the investigation. It stemmed from an anonymous tip of a former employee of the dispensary to the pharmacy board.
Now, there are several investigative agencies that have been involved in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor. During the time this case initially began, the Board of Pharmacy was the investigating agency. Then it transferred due to changes in the law to the Medical Marijuana Dispensary Board, which was a subunit of the Board of Pharmacy. And I believe Sarah Radke worked for that dispensary board, and then the involvement of Board of Pharmacy investigative agents also.
Have you consulted with these various investigative agencies to ascertain whether any of them have an objection to this?
I have, Your Honor, and the primary investigator, Ms. Radke, does not work for either of these organizations anymore. But I did speak to her. She has no issues. I also spoke to the chief investigator from the Board of Pharmacy, and there are other things they can do in-house if the Board of Pharmacy chooses to do so. And they have no objection to this case being handled the way it is.
And there actually is no specific victim to the offense that she's pleading.
That is correct.
And you find this plea to be in the interest of justice?
I do, Your Honor.
Thank you. Now, Ms. Lovello, in an Alford plea, you are pleading guilty but protesting your innocence. What are your reasons for pleading guilty if you are protesting your innocence in this matter?
Your Honor, I maintain my innocence, but I'm pleading guilty by way of Alford to seek leniency from the court and to avoid the risk of a jury trial on the indicted charges.
Mr. Fairchild, you are in accord with this resolution on behalf of your client?
I am, Your Honor.
Thank you. Now, Ms. Lorella, do you understand that the maximum penalty that could be imposed by this court for the offense that you are pleading guilty to, obstructing official business, is 12 months in state prison and a $2,500 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Prison is not mandatory, nor is there a presumption for prison in this matter. Now, Mr. Barrett, the state's position of sentencing is a fine to be set by the court. Is the state's position position that that would be the only consequence would be the fine set by the court?
Yes, Your Honor, Ms. Morello does not have any prior history. As a matter of fact, I think her record is clean. And placing her on community control in this matter would probably be a very high waste of resources for this county.
But she would be a convicted felon pursuant to this plea.
That's correct.
Convicted felon. Lock her up.
Now, Mr. Morello, if I would sentence you to prison for this matter, do you understand that after you would be released from prison, you will have up to 2 years of post-release control? And that if you violate the terms and conditions of your post-release control, you could be returned to prison for up to another 6 months for each violation, for a total of 50% of the original sentence. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that if you're convicted of a new felony while on post-release control, that besides being punished for the new offense, the sentencing court could terminate your post-release control and impose a consecutive prison term of 1 year for what time remains on your post-release control term, whichever is greater. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that if I would sentence you to prison, you may be eligible under certain circumstances to earn days of credit up to 8% off your prison sentence based on your conduct and behavior while in prison. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, if I would make a determination to place you on community control, you would be subject to the court's standard terms and conditions of community control, as well as any special terms and conditions that I would have. And that if in the future, while on community control, you would violate those terms and conditions, you could be returned to this court. And if it would be proven to my satisfaction by substantial evidence that you are in violation of those terms and conditions, I could resentence you. And that resentencing could include sending you to prison at that time, sending you to county jail, adding additional terms and conditions, or extending the length of the community control to a maximum of 5 years. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Barrett, is it the state's contention that a firearms disability would result as function of this plea?
Your Honor, it would not function under the state of Ohio disability for firearms use or possession, and I believe under the federal code, this is punishable by up to 12 months of incarceration, and I believe the federal code requires that it be punishable by more than 12 months.
Mr. Fairchild, is this your understanding of the status of the disability law?
It is.
And you have consulted with your client regarding that. Does she hold any professional license, Mr. Fairchild, that could be affected by this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Is she currently on probation or community control in any other court or state?
No, Your Honor.
Now, Ms. Guerrero, do you understand that in this case, you have a right to a trial and a trial by jury? By virtue of this plea, you are giving up or waiving your right to a trial by jury. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you wish to exercise your right to a trial by jury, you would participate with your if there would be a witness you wanted to testify who was unwilling to come in voluntarily, you have the right to ask this court to issue a subpoena to compel that witness to come in and testify.
understand that? You have the right to testify at that trial yourself, but absolutely no obligation to do so. You have the absolute right to remain silent in this courtroom during the time of the trial, and the prosecuting attorney would not be permitted to make any comment or argument to the jury regarding your assertion of your right to remain silent. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
At the conclusion of the
34.
evidence portion of this case, the jury would retire to the jury room, and in order to reach a verdict, any verdict on any count, all 12 jurors must agree to be unanimous to reach a verdict. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, if you would make a determination to proceed to trial, and you would be found guilty, or the alternative, if you wish to appeal any aspect of anything this court has done in this case, you must perfect that appeal by filing a written notice of appeal within 30 days of the date of your sentencing in the Ashtabula County Clerk of Court's office. It is my intention to sentence you today, so that notice of appeal would be due within 30 days of today's date. If there is a filing fee for that notice of appeal, and you don't believe you can afford to advance or pay the filing fee, you can make an application to this court. And if you qualify financially, the filing fee would be waived on your behalf. If you wanted to be represented by an attorney on the appeal, you don't believe you can afford to hire an attorney, that same application could be used to ask this court to appoint an attorney. And if you financially qualified, an attorney would be appointed to handle the entire appeal free of charge to you. And if the attorney needed the transcript of these proceedings, which they usually do, there's a cost for those transcripts. That same application could be used to ask this court to waive the transcript costs so that you can perfect your appeal. Do you understand your rights on appeal?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you are represented by Attorney Jason Fairchild, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you had an adequate opportunity to discuss this matter with Mr. Fairchild?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you need any more time to discuss any aspect of this with him?
No, Your Honor.
Did he review with you his file materials, which would have included what I previously referred to as discovery from the state, whatever materials he got from the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did he discuss with you the potential witnesses that could testify against you, as well as witnesses you might be able to call on your behalf?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did he discuss with you any possible defenses that you might have?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did he discuss with you the penalties the court could impose in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the time, advice, and professionalism of Attorney Fairchild?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Fairchild, are you satisfied that this defendant is knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily entering into this plea?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Thank you. This court finds pursuant to North Carolina and Alfred that an adequate factual basis from the state's perspective was placed on the record in the Alfred plea, and the court further finds that the defendant has stated reasons on the record for entering a plea of guilty pursuant to North Carolina versus Alfred in this matter. Now, with respect to the 3-page written plea agreement, with respect to count 9, amended to obstructing official business, a 5th-degree felony, punishable by up to 12 months in state prison and up to a $2,500 fine. What is your plea pursuant to North Carolina versus Alfred to that charge?
Your Honor, guilty by way of Alfred.
The court finds the defendant has knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily waived her rights and entered a plea of guilty to count 9, amended to obstructing official business, a 5th-degree felony. And the court will accept that plea and make a finding of guilty. Mr. Barrett, based upon the acceptance of that plea, is the state moving to dismiss the remaining counts 1 through 8 in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor.
That motion would be granted. Is there any reason we should not proceed to sentencing in this matter?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Mr. Fairchild?
No, Your Honor.
Will both counsel waive the preparation and presentation of a pre-sentence investigative report?
The state would waive.
The defense doesn't.
Thank you.
Ms. Lorello, a few moments ago, I advised you of your appellate rights. I told you we were going to proceed to sentencing. We are proceeding to sentencing in this matter. If you wish to appeal any aspect of this case, it must be done.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Fairchild, on her behalf.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, as was indicated in the written plea of guilty, the state defense would be asking that the court impose only a fine in this case. And if the state is concurrent with that, it would indicate to the court, Ms. Lorello, she's a young, new entrepreneur in the community. She has no prior criminal history at all. Her and her family are business owners in the community. As you can see, she's got the love and support of her family here with her today. And the conduct that gave rise to the charges in this case and ultimately resulting in the negotiated plea involved what I term as a technical violation of a regulatory requirement in this case. And I liken it to like a paperwork violation. I would indicate to the court as support for a fine only. The investigating officer from the Board of Pharmacy had indicated while this case was pending that they were okay with the reduction of these charges to a misdemeanor, which we were trying to work out and resolve this matter. However, the elected county prosecutor objected to that, which is why we ended up with the Alford plea to the obstructing official business. It would indicate that since this incident has occurred, processes and protocols have been put in place at the business to help prevent something like this from happening again. Obviously, with not having a prior criminal history, the likelihood of recidivism in this case is extremely low. And as I would point to the court that under revised code 292913 does state that if the offender is eligible to be sentenced to community control sanctions, the court shall consider the appropriateness of imposing a financial sanction pursuant to section 292918 of the revised code, or a sanction of community service pursuant to section 292917 of the revised code as the sole sanction for the offense. And I think based on these reasons, we feel and we would request that the court find that a financial sanction in this case is appropriate and impose same. Thank you.
You got bread, that fine got to be way higher.
Thank you. Mr. Barrett, on behalf of the state.
Yes, Your Honor, the state would be asking for a hefty fine in this matter. And as Mr. Fairchild did point out, this court has in other cases persons with no prior criminal conduct who had the aberration of the law have also been fined without any type of community control or prison sentence. And the state is asking to comply with that. She is subject from 6 months to 12 months in prison, but I don't feel any type of prison sentence is necessary in this matter based upon her prior history and the steps actually that the pharmacy board told me that the business has taken to prevent any unauthorized access to the order system in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett. This court has considered the record of this proceeding, all of the information presented at this proceeding, the fact that both counsel have waived the preparation and presentation of a pre-sentence investigative report, and the fact that there is no specific victim in this matter. I've considered the overriding purposes of felony sentencing under the revised code and the seriousness of crime recidivism factors set forth, which are: number one, to protect the public from future crime by this defendant and others; number two, to punish the offender; and number three, to promote the effective rehabilitation of the defendant while using the minimum sanctions the court determines accomplishes these purposes. All of this having been said, the court is familiar with the rather complex and unique circumstances of this case. I do find the sentencing recommendation of the state to be appropriate in this matter. Under these circumstances, the court will impose a $2,500 fine plus court costs, and the court does not see the need for any community control or any further punishment in this matter.
Nah, she need to be on house arrest.
She has no jail time credit, is that correct?
Jail time.
Anything further on behalf of the defendant?
No, Your Honor.
on behalf of the state. No, Your Honor. Thank you. We are in recess.
She got off easy. So, yeah, I mean, you gotta have money in America, bro. Gotta have money. Gotta own businesses and shit. You get away with shit. You know what I mean? My dude Rodney said her family owned a winery. It's the only way you get away with shit in America is you got money. You own businesses. You're gonna do some fucked up shit. Oh man. All right, y'all. We out of here. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share this with anybody that you think might think this content is interesting. Oh, I did meant to show y'all this too. I'm sorry. The AG thing. And then this will be the last thing. Refresher on the antitrust lawsuit from the Attorney General Dave Yost in Ohio. So this was the news release. As you can see, this is the official website and page of Dave Yost, Ohio Attorney General. So Yost sues multi-state cannabis operators for anti-competitive practices, 2/6/2026. In an antitrust lawsuit, Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost accuses 9 multi-state cannabis operators of engaging in anti-competitive conduct to reduce product choice and keep prices artificially high, harming both consumers and smaller Ohio-based cannabis businesses. The lawsuit stems from an October 2024 tip submitted to Yost's office by an Ohio cannabis industry employee that alleges widespread shelf space allotments among large vertically integrated cannabis companies operating in Ohio and nationwide. According to the tip and later corroborated in the investigation, multi-state cannabis operators entered into reciprocal purchasing agreements negotiated at national level to prioritize one another's products in Ohio's dispensaries while reducing or eliminating purchases from independent Ohio cultivators and processors. Quote, our investigation uncovered allegations of an industry-wide scheme designed to push small Ohio businesses out of the market, end quote, Yost said. Quote, Ohio's antitrust laws protect competition and consumers, not backroom deals that rig the system for a few select few, end quote. According to this tip, senior representatives from major multi-state operators met in late 2022 and agreed to reduce purchases from independent businesses in order to preserve shelf space for one another during a period of increased supply and declining prices. The tip further alleges that some companies establish explicit internal quotas, reserving a substantial percentage of dispensary shelf space for products sourced through reciprocal agreements with other multi-state operators. The defendants named in the lawsuit are Ascend Wellness, AYR Wellness, the Cannabis Company, Cresco Labs, Curaleaf, Green Thumb Industries, Juicy, True Relief, Verano. The lawsuit alleges each defendant violated Ohio's Valentine Act by entering into reciprocal trade agreements with competitors, sharing competitively sensitive information, engaging in discriminatory distribution practices that disadvantage independent Ohio cannabis operators. According to the complaint, these actions reduce product choice and quality for Ohio consumers, stifled innovation, and allowed the defendant to maintain or increase super competitive prices in the state's cannabis market. Attorney General Dave Yost is seeking injunction relief to halt the alleged unlawful conduct. Media contact Hannah Hunley, 614-906-9113. So yeah, that's why prices have been high in Ohio. That's why the multi-state operators run and control things. But that's also why us as citizens need to be more aggressive and engaged at the state level, because I'm sure this isn't the only group doing that. So let me know in the chat what y'all think about that. If you have any thoughts. Obviously, we've been in here almost 3 hours, so I'm about to log off. But if y'all got any last thoughts, Let them be known in the chat. Appreciate y'all, chat. Make sure y'all follow us, Ohio Cannabis Report, on all social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Substack, Reddit, LinkedIn. Make sure you guys like, comment, follow, subscribe, donate, send bread. Again, we got the Ohio Cannabis Social Equity Forum, April 4th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is a free event open to the community, but I do ask that you RSVP because we do have limited space. Still looking for a few more community sponsors at $50, social equity sponsors at $250 if you want to be a part of this event. If it aligns with your organization's mission, we would greatly appreciate all the support. But again, man, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Ohio Cannabis Report. I really appreciate you guys. We're up to 351 subs, 351 subs on our YouTube. So appreciate all 351 of y'all. If all 351 of y'all gave me $1, I'd be a rich man. But we really appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Till next time, peace.